Skeletor to King Randor. Skeletor to King Randor. Come in, you royal boo.
I am Adam, Prince of Eternia, defender of the secrets of Castle Grayskull. This is Cringer, my fearless friend. Fabulous secret powers were revealed to me the day I held aloft my magic sword and said, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull, by the power of Grayskull.
I have you now, you muscle-bound oaf.
That means that we punched our ticket to go try to win the Super Bowl, and that's it. We got one game at a time, starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Love y'all, boys. Love you. Love you. I'll go to war with every single one of you, every game, all right? Love you, 1-7. Here we go! 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3! Win!
Yeah. Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have your doubts, not what I'm about, have your fucking cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, bitch I'm legend bound, can't stop me now. You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
It's showtime.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. What up, Bills Mafia? Happy Sunday to all of y'all, man. I appreciate you guys rocking with me every Sunday at 1 o'clock doing these Down and Drought episodes. Today we are on episode number 13, the Buffalo Bills 2012 season. And this is an interesting one. This is where we get Mario Williams. That was the big signing in the offseason for the Buffalo Bills. So, yeah, man, there's a lot to talk about on this episode. Let's get to some of your comments real quick. I roll up often. What's going on, man? Appreciate you rocking with me. And Bob. Bob's always here, man. Appreciate you, Bob. What's up with you, Tommy? That damn McDermott talk going to get you today? Nah, man. Nah. Unless somebody gets me going on it. Look, I'll be honest with you, man. Like, I just want the season to start already. You know what I mean? Like, once the season starts, guys, like, I think the McDermott stuff will slowly fade away for me. You know what I mean? And for Mikey and for a lot of people. Like, I think we're just so, like, 9 years, with Sean McDermott as our head coach. And I'm not saying it was all bad. Like, you know what I mean? Sean McDermott, like, people get it confused when I talk about, like, Sean McDermott, and they feel like I'm just hating on the guy all the time, not giving him any type of credit. I've said this numerous times. I thought he was a good head coach. I thought he was a good regular season head coach who had playoff failures. I mean, he's not the first either, guys. Like there's plenty of coaches throughout sports, NBA, baseball, football, college sports, that for some, reason, they just fail in the playoffs. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, this is nothing new. So I give him his dues for coming to, a bad Buffalo Bills team that was stuck in the drought for 17 years, which the series that we're going over, that we're doing here is 17 years, right? So I give him his dues. I do. But once again, when you become a head coach for any sports team, your goal is to win it all. Your goal is to, get a Super Bowl, to get an NBA championship, get an NHL championship, whatever kind of championship, that's your goal. That should be your goal, right? And I was more than patient with Sean McDermott, right? And I think a lot of us were, right? So it was his time. That's all. You know what I mean? And yeah, dude, I can't wait for the season to start, because I feel like even with the people that are still hung up on, you know, Sean McDermott shouldn't have been fired, or he should still be here, whatever the case may be, or he, you know, it wasn't his fault. I just want the season to start so people can kind of understand where I was coming from, and a lot of other people that wanted Sean McDermott to be fired. And we're about to find out, you know what I mean? What are we, like 3 months away? You know what I mean? So I just can't wait for that, man. So it could slowly fade away, right? And I could be done with that. And then look, I'm sure there's going to be things about Joe Brady and this coaching staff at times that's going to upset me. I'm sure of it. I'm sure Brandon Beane's going to do something that I don't like again, right? Maybe at the trade deadline, right? Not make a move for a guy that I felt like he should make a move on, right? Like, what did I say there? That he should trade for? Oh, my God. Hey, I know it's Pride Month, but whoa, slow down, Tommy. Just 9 weeks. Yeah, man. So what's going on, Ronnie? Appreciate you rocking with me, man. But yeah, that's ultimately where what my thoughts are. By the way, real quick, I don't know if you guys saw, I posted on my YouTube channel, I have started a Discord. I'm very new at the Discord stuff, guys. I'm not like super familiar with it. So, you know, bear with me on that, but it's free. It's free. I'm not charging you guys to join a Discord with me. If you guys ever want to donate to the channel, you could always become a member. There's the join button. You don't have to, obviously. Super chats, obviously, are always welcome too. But the Discord's free, and I want to kind of build a community there for people to come in and just talk football, talk whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just have fun in the chat room and kick it with other Bills fans and shit. I mean, I got Weston in there who's a Chiefs fan. So, I mean, honestly, all is welcome. So, the link is in the YouTube, on my YouTube channel. You'll see like a posting I did. And also, if you're on X, I posted on there, and there's the Discord link. You just click the link, and then you'll be able to join the Discord, and then be able to talk, you know, with everybody that's been invited. So, which is everybody, and, you know, pretty much everybody. So, just a heads up on that as well. Godzilla King, go Bills. What's going on, brother? I appreciate you rocking with me. So, yeah, so today, like I said, we're going over the 2012 Buffalo Bills. And, you know, spoiler alert, we don't make the playoffs. just in case you were wondering. I hate to break the bad news to you guys, but yeah, let's get this thing rocking and rolling. And maybe after this is over, we'll talk a little bit more of the current Buffalo Bills. If you guys want, you know, if you guys want and you're still sticking around. By the way, real quick, tomorrow night, we go live at 10. I'm going to have to be going live from my car. Mikey will be home doing the podcast, and I'm also going to have Jarek join us as well from Jant Sports. So excuse my audio and video tomorrow night because it'll be from my phone, but Mikey should be good, and Jarek should be good as well. So definitely want to join us tomorrow night at 10. I'll be, like I said, doing my part from the car. It is what it is. Work calls, man. So anyways, let's go ahead and get this thing rocking and rolling, man. All right. There we go. All right, here we go. Episode number 13, 2012.
Episode 13, 2012. In this sad world of ours, sorrow comes to all, and to the young, it comes with the bitterest agony because it takes them unawares. The older have learned to ever expect it.
Let me know if you guys can still hear me. If the audio is
on
good
inside the Buffalo.
both sides.
Wait.
Just give me a thumbs up or just tell me everything's good.
How about
Thank you.
this? All right.
Should be a good
Welcome
one.
Back once again to another episode of Down and Drought. You know what the routine is. We're talking about the Buffalo Bills and their 17-year playoff absence.
Ugh,
Every week we're going to
boy.
do a deep dive on a specific year of those.
We are
17
so
years.
bad.
This year the calendar turns to 2012. I'm Prescott Rossi. He's Thad Brown, and we brought the good Drought boy back once again, Ryan Nagelhout from the Drought Cast. Follow him on Twitter at Ryan Nagelhout. You can listen to his podcast. Really the inspiration for what we
Spell
do.
Nagelhout, just way around.
Nagel.
So quick quiz for you
And in
guys.
post, I will put in
Who was our number one
Oh, okay,
pick
good.
Yeah,
It's very exciting.
in the offseason of this 2012 draft?
What an age we live in.
Let me know in the chat. It was good. Thank you, Bob. Appreciate you.
Actually doesn't happen until a few months into 2012.
So who was our first
March
pick in the
5th,
draft
Bills
here in 2012?
re-signed Stevie Johnson.
Go ahead and put it in the
Everybody
comment
this-
section.
In this league,
Hey,
coming, they wanna
Stevie!
see, what's going to happen in free agency and all that. But
Stevie's
I mean,
coming back.
me personally, that would have been cool, but I know where I wanted to be. So it wouldn't have made any
That's
sense
what I'm
to go
talking about,
see,
Stevie.
this team wanted me. That team wanted me. It doesn't matter. Like, what's the point of looking at that if you know where you want to be? And this is where I wanted to be.
One of our main goals is to keep guys like
Hey,
him.
yeah.
And,
There you go, about the Knicks.
took a long time. Probably was going to get done because Steve always said he wanted to be here, and we always said we wanted him.
Obviously, he's a very talented receiver. The
Oh,
penalty.
are you guys cheating, by the way, and looking it up who our number one pick was?
Inked Stevie Johnson. He is
You're
back.
taking a little bit too long there to
One more year.
answer.
Of course, it's a 5-year deal.
He was a
Don't be
unique guy in
cheating.
that He was a lightning rod, but not so much like most receivers would be like a
Number
Tio kind of
one
thing for
pick.
things
Come
he
on,
said
guys. Number
or,
one pick in
things he
2012.
did off the field that
Who
might
did
cause
we
locker room
draft?
problems. He was a lightning
I'm
rod
sorry,
for,
not the
"Is
number
this
one
guy
pick,
really
but
worth
who
being
was
a
our
number one
first draft
receiver?"
pick?
I remember having many debates.
First
about it,
round.
and I was always pro Stevie.
Oh,
about
Bob,
whether this
come
guy
on.
was the one you
Come
wanted
on,
to be
Bob.
as your number one receiver. And the
I
penalties were a part of
expected
that
you
too.
to know
It's just
this,
whether or not he was
Bob.
talented enough to do it. There was a part of the contract
You
that
want a
was
clue?
7th round pick makes
I can
good.
give
It
you
made
a
everybody
clue.
feel, everybody likes that underdog story.
All right, he
Stevie
was
that.
the
And
10th
whether
pick.
you wanted to commit that money to that guy,
Right, he
and
was the
make him
10th
your
pick,
number one receiver,
and
they were kind of forced into
his
a trade
position
the year before.
is corner.
But whether he merited that was
Nope.
a bit of a
Darius
hot
was the
button
year
discussion
before, I
between
believe,
the
I rolled.
Bills, that season and then prior season.
So he's a
and the offseason.
corner.
Yeah, to me it seemed
And he
like
was
it
the
a
10th
move they
pick.
sort of had
Nope.
to make just because
Darius
they
was
got
the year
rid of
before.
Evans, and they
No.
were very high on like Donald Jones or someone like that.
There you
They
go.
didn't have
Bob
many
got
receivers,
it.
and there was nobody
Stephon
else in the
Gilmore.
receiving core
Yes.
really that
Gilmore
stood out other
was
than
the
Johnson.
draft pick.
But there were things at the end of last season that were alarming. There was, the Jets game, the Plexico Burris celebration. There was again, the celebration at the last game he got benched.
Yeah.
There was some talk about that, and people, had sort of soured on him in that regard. But at the end of the day, he caught balls. You kind of had. There wasn't a. You're going to go get someone in the draft. Like what's. It seemed like they needed that.
What's the alternative?
Yeah, they needed that piece to be in place just because they have to keep moving. So.
Free agency starts a week later, and that's when it begins.
Yeah.
Here you go.
The
Free agency.
Longest days. Nah, probably not. But up there, the 3 longest days of my career. Tuesday, March 13th, as free agency begins at 4 o'clock, the Bills announce that Mario Williams is in town.
The NFL free agency window opened at 4
There
p.m.
we
today.
go.
The Bills are not
Dude, I was
sitting
so
idle. Houston Texans
pumped up
surprised
when we got
defensive
Mario
end
Williams.
one of the top free agents out there in
I mean,
Buffalo
that-
tonight to talk with the Bills, but reports coming out.
That's a splash signing. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll give Buddy Nix credit there. Yeah, that was a good free agent signing right there. Big name. At that time, you weren't getting these kind of people to come to Buffalo. You just weren't. You know what I mean? We got T.O. on a 1-year deal. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, bullshit. But Mario Williams, he was a beast in Houston, right? For him coming to Buffalo, yeah, that was a big deal. Like, we didn't trade for him. He wasn't forced to come to Buffalo on a trade. You know what I'm saying? That was a free agent signing for a guy that was a beast out of college, a beast in Houston. And, dude, like, I was pumped up when we got Mario Williams, for sure. So, and he was good here. So, he didn't last too long in Buffalo. I forget how many years he was here, but yeah, the dude was solid. How many set? Let me check there. Let's see. I got the stats pulled up. That's a good question. So his first year in Buffalo here, let's see, 2012. Mario Williams he had 10.5. So he had 10.5 sacks his first year. Let's see what he had as second. Now I'm curious. Guys. So 2012, 10.5, which if we had a 10.5 sack guy now, we would be going fucking bananas. You know what I mean? Like, that's unbelievable, at this day and age for the Buffalo Bills defense if we get a guy over 10 sacks. So, yeah, we would be losing our shit. Let's see here. So 2013, he had 13 sacks. So, yeah, that's pretty good start. Let's see what he did in 2014. 2014, he got 14.5. Man, guys, he was better than I remember. Like, I remember he had a couple good years, but 10.5, what did I say? 10.5, 12.5 the year after, and then 14.5 now. Is that what I said? 12.5? Man. Let me just look up his. Hold on. Let me make this easier on me because I'm going through the years. Hold on. So Mario Williams. Let me just look up. So Mario Williams in Buffalo. He had 10.5 his first year, 13 his second. So I don't know where I got 12.5. 10.5, 13, 14.5. And then his last year in Buffalo was his down year, which was 2015. He had 5 sacks. But, I mean, that 3-year stretch, the dude was playing, as good as you can get. You know what I mean? I mean, that's solid. That's solid numbers, man. That's a very good that's a good free agent signing. Like that, like if we signed a guy like that, you know what I mean? Like, let's say Bradley Chubb. I'm gonna give you an example. If Bradley Chubb comes out this year and gets 10 sacks, let's just say 10. And then because we sign him on a 3-year deal, and then the next year he repeats that performance or does better. Let's say he gets 11 sacks. Let's say he goes up a number, right? And in his 3rd year, he gives us another 10 sacks, 10.5. That's going to wind, for me, that's a great signing. That worked out. That, you know what I mean? Like, I have no problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, the problem is, and this is where, this is one of my critiques of Brandon Beane is the free agent signings haven't given us the production like, a Mario Williams did when he was with us in, since in that 2012, 2013, 2014 season. Like, I think that's what we're waiting on, some of these free agent signings to produce. You know what I mean? Like, the only one I can remember producing of Brandon Beane's signings was Leonard Floyd, who had, I believe, 10.5 sacks his first year. But remember, he was only a 1-year contract, right? So he signed 1 year, and we got him on a cheap deal. Remember that, guys? Like, really cheap. But then he left, of course, because he had a good year with us, and then he got a contract somewhere else, like I think 2 or 3 years. So, but outside of that, like, I mean, both sides of the ball, offense and defense, that's where Brandon Beane has failed. You know what I mean? And once again, you guys know me. Like, I'm a supporter of Brandon Beane. I think he's done a very good job here. I think people are too critical of his draft picks, and proof shows that his drafts have actually been very good. So it's the free agent signings and the money being wasted for guys that aren't producing. You know what I mean? So credit to Buddy Nix here for finding a guy, paying him, and he produced. So there's no one's going to complain about the money that Mario Williams made if he produces, and he did. So, that's what we've been waiting and missing on in these free agents, in these offseason free agent moves from Brandon Beane. They've been failures. Let's be real. And look, he did swing for the fence on Von Miller, and I have no problem with that. I rather have my GM swing for the fences more than not swing at all. You know what I mean? And the Von Miller signing, I didn't hate. It didn't work out. But honestly, guys, it was more due to the injury, because he would have had 10 sacks that year easily. I think he had 8 in that leading up to that game and that Lions game and Thanksgiving. So It was turning out to be a good signing, but unfortunately, he got hurt. So at the end of the day, yeah, it didn't work out. So really, it's a bad signing, money wasted. Joey Bosa, same thing. You know, matter of fact, I criticized that free agent signing the day it happened. I remember going live with Mikey, just going, I think it's just $12 million wasted. It's a 1-year deal, and I don't see the production even when he's healthy. Like, it's just, it hasn't been there over the last 4 years. So I didn't really get it. You know what I mean? And Mikey tried to convince me, like, hey, you know, we're going to use him in the playoffs, and that's where, you know, he'll be needed. And maybe, you know, he won't have a lot of snap count. And unfortunately, because of injuries throughout the team, he got probably a little bit more snap counts than we probably wanted. And he started breaking down. And that's kind of the story of Joey Bosa's career over the last, you know, really halfway through his career, right? Like, so, and I kind of knew that. And that was my concern. The Palmer signing, Josh Palmer, I didn't like it. You know what I mean? The Curtis Samuel one, I didn't hate. I'm not going to lie to you guys, because I thought Curtis Samuel put up decent numbers in Carolina, but he didn't produce, right? So, like, pretty much our free agent signings, guys, have been bad. They've been bad. Or we've picked up guys that actually were good, but elsewhere, meaning Poona Ford, right? McDermott couldn't even give him a game day jersey. The guy's a Pro Bowler now. Tim Settle, a guy that I was like I was excited we signed him. Then I was disappointed because his play was not good. But then he leaves and his play is way better. Now he's back, I believe, in Washington. And you know, he's highly regarded, like as a defensive lineman. Like, so those are two guys that were actually good signings that didn't work out because I guess Sean McDermott and the scheme didn't really fit them. I don't know, but yeah, just overall free agent signings have not been good. You know, and that's why I kind of defend the draft picks, because if you think about it, for as bad as the free agent signings have been, and they haven't really produced, what's kind of holding this team together over the last 9 years, or let's say 7 years? It's been the draft picks, because at least those guys are producing. Most of them are still on the team. You get what I mean? So at least if those guys, if Brandon Beane's draft picks were bad, then I'm going to tell you guys right now, this Buffalo Bills team would be missing the playoffs probably every other season. I'm just being honest with you, because of how bad the free agents have really been. So, you know, not many people will bring that up either. So really, technically, the draft picks are what making this team continue to be a 10-plus win team every season, because the free agents have not really done anything. I mean, am I missing something? What free agent have we signed? I mean, I'll take that back. There's been a few that he hit on. So let me rewind. Mitch Morse was a good free agent signing. So yeah, I'm trying to, because I don't want to like just totally kill all his free agents. So Mitch Morse was a good signing. Early on, Cole Beasley, John Brown, I thought those were excellent signings. You know what I mean? Who else? Connor McGovern, who's now, you know, we re-signed. I thought David Edwards, you know, he was a good pickup. So there's been a few, I guess I can, but there's also been way many misses in free agency. And not only that, if you look at those guys that we signed, the ones that I'm telling you that we hit on, they didn't cost a whole bunch. Like, I think Mitch Morse was probably the highest in the bunch there, but we didn't like overpay for Cole Beasley or give him a huge free agent signing. John Brown wasn't this big signing. You know, David Edwards was you know, not a big signing as far as money wise. Connor McGovern at the time wasn't we didn't pay him a lot, right? So like the contracts that we paid a lot for in free agency, those are the ones that didn't work out. The Von Millers, the Joey Bosas, the Curtis Samuels, the Josh Palmers, like big money contract, like 3 years, you know what I mean? 3-4 year deals. That's where he's failed, right? Now, this free agency, I will say, I felt like, now we don't know yet because obviously we haven't played a game yet, but I do like this. I do like this free agency or this offseason, the free agents that he picked up. You know what I mean? I think Bradley Chubb, when healthy, knock on wood, is still producing, unlike Joey Bosa, right? He's still putting up numbers. CJ Gardner-Johnson, wherever he's been, pretty much, he's been a baller, right? Good signing. My only problem with that, it's a 1-year deal. So let's say CJ Gardner-Johnson plays really well for us, right? Like a, what's his name? Leonard Floyd, right? Plays really well for us. And then just like Leonard Floyd, CJ Gardner-Johnson goes on free agency and gets, a good contract somewhere here for 2-3 years from some other team, right? So that's the bad part of the 1-year deals, right? And that's why I'm kind of hoping that if CJ Gardner-Johnson's playing really well at some point of the season, Brandon Beane could, maybe, and this has happened before, talk to his agent and go ahead and get an extension before the year ends. Because he's still at a decent age. It's not like he's super old and it would be a bad move by the Buffalo Bills. You know what I mean? Especially if he's playing at a high level. So anyways, sorry to got off track a little bit, but this kind of triggered it, the Mario Williams signing here. And this is what Buffalo has been missing out on in free agency. A player like that where you hit on it and it makes sense. You know what I mean? The player performs this, he performs his contract, right? Like the contract makes sense, right? Like he shows up. Chubb will have 10, 12 sacks this season. I think Chubb will have, because I don't want to kill it. So I believe he had 11 and a half his first year with Miami when he got traded there. Then he missed the season for the ACL. And then he came back last year at 8.5. So I'm going to go ahead and go 9, right? But could he get 10? Absolutely, he can get 10. There's no doubt about it. I truly believe it's because of the scheme, not the players. And you know what, Godzilla, I'm with you on that one. I think the scheme absolutely messed up some of these players and held back some of these players, as far as what they can do on the field. Now we'll find out, right? But I'm with you on that one as well. And this year, I think some of the players on the D-line will have their best years. I truly believe it's a scheme. I'm with you. I've been saying that for a long time. I felt like Sean McDermott's scheme was broken for a while. I thought that his 4-3, that soft zone, that bend don't break defense, it just got stale. It didn't work anymore. Better offenses knew how to slice and dice it up. You know what I mean? And we saw that firsthand when we get into playoffs and we played against better offensive teams. And once again, offenses, they get better each year. They get more innovated. And you got, as a defensive-minded head coach or defensive coordinator, you have to adapt to the times. You have to adapt to the new wave of offenses, because offenses are always trying to get more innovative, throw different looks out there, confuse the defense. It's your job as a defensive coordinator to understand this, change, adapt. And I think Sean McDermott just had this old school mindset. He was sticking to his scheme. He wasn't going to change. And that's a problem. And also, he didn't want Sean McDermott was a little bit controlling in the fact that nobody was going to come in and tell him, to change his defense around. Or, hey, why don't you try doing this? You think Bobby Babich had any say in the defense or any ideas, that he was throwing at Sean McDermott going, hey, maybe we should try this. Maybe we should. No way. It wasn't happening. You know what I mean? Once Leslie Frazier left or got fired, whatever, left mutual, parting ways. That's why McDermott won that very season. After Frazier was gone, McDermott was the DC. And then he promoted Bobby Babich the following season. But let's be real, he could have went out and got a a good defensive coordinator out there that was available. But why didn't he? Because he didn't want anyone coming in questioning his defense. I mean, come on, guys. Why do you think he hired within on the offensive side of the ball too? Once Brian Daboll left, you saw everything kind of changing on the offense. Ken Dorsey kind of ran the Brian Daboll offense his first year, but the second year, you saw things changing a little bit in the way the offense was running. And that's why Stephon Diggs wasn't happy. Remember that? And then then he fired Ken Dorsey. Joe Brady got promoted, or he was interim OC for the rest of the season. And then that's when we had the issue with Stephon Diggs, because Stephon Diggs' numbers declined once Joe Brady came in, because Sean McDermott wanted a certain play style. He didn't want what we were doing under Brian Daboll, right? Which worked really good with Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Like, that's why we were putting up better numbers, right? Going downfield more. McDermott didn't want that, right? Then Joe Brady and him got into the offseason. They probably agreed on, hey, if you want to be the OC, this is how we're going to do things. If you don't, then I'll find somebody that knows how to, that's going to run it the way I want to run. And of course, Joe Brady's going to take the opportunity. Now, there wasn't like people knocking on Joe Brady's door begging him to be OC, right? So, look, the chains are off now. McDermott's gone. I can't wait to see what this team looks like. Different scheme, different vision. A coach seems like he's more of a player's coach. He's going to understand the coaches, the players better. He's going to give his coaches, a longer leash, put it that way, to do what they need to do on their side of the ball. Unlike Sean McDermott, who had a very short leash. Matter of fact, it was so short that he took away play calling from Bobby Babich many times while Bobby Babich was DC. Many times. We all know this. We saw this. He admitted it. Matter of fact, he took it away from Leslie Frazier a few times. So he was very controlling in that. And you can't do that. If you hire a guy to be your coordinator, you need to have trust in him. And if you don't trust him, then fire him. Get a guy in there that you don't need to worry about, that you don't need to go and take over play calling because he's doing a bad job. You know what I mean? Once again, nobody talks about that. I'm the only one. I feel like I'm the only one that brings this stuff up. I don't get it. Look at Poona Ford. Exactly. Poona Ford, Tim Settle. How about Jerry Hughes? When Jerry Hughes left, his last year in Houston, I think he had more sacks than he had with Sean McDermott. And then you have Jerry Hughes coming out on Twitter after we lost to Denver saying, the defense is trash under McDermott. I knew that when we lost the 13-second game. I mean, that's a former player. Dude, I would love to interview a former player that played under Sean McDermott. You know what I mean? I actually reached out to Jerry Hughes. He never got back to me, but dude, I would love to have Jerry Hughes here on the podcast for an interview. I want to know firsthand what a player thought about Sean McDermott as the head coach. Because that would tell us a lot more than just me, telling you what I saw or what I believe happened. You get it firsthand from a player. Shit, I'll even take a previous coach interview. You know what I mean? I want to know. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see. Shaq Lawson, I wish we would resign. Shaq Lawson? Shaq Lawson wasn't bad, but I think, I'll be honest with you, I really don't want it to bring back any former Buffalo Bills, on the defensive side of things. I kind of want to move on from that. Even, the Matt Milano, I would say, I wouldn't hate it because I thought he did good last year, but I just can't trust the guy. And not only that, drafting Elarms Orr is already looking like a hit. We'll find out, but everything I'm hearing in camp or early on OTAs is Elam Zor like is looking like that dude, and he has an opportunity. And I said this. Remember when I told you guys this, and everyone was like, "Oh, Tom, he's crazy." And who else did I tell you guys? IGB. Remember? And everyone's like, and by the way, I do want to pat myself on the back because I was probably the first podcaster to come out and say that I felt IGB has a real opportunity to take that CB2 role away from Maxwell Harrison. Now, I'm not saying it's for 100% for sure going to happen or anything like that, but if you're hearing what's coming out of camp early on at OTAs, IGB is another guy that's getting a lot of high praise. Matt Perino actually said he's probably one of the best corners he saw, for a long time in Buffalo, like while he's been covering his team, in the McDermott era, and moving forward. So interesting take from Matt Perino there. But yeah, I was one of the first to say, like, and it's crazy because initially I did not like the pick, but once the dust settled, I got to watch this guy's film and everybody else's, and I really truly understood what was going on or what Leonard wants to do with this defense. I'm like, dude, that is the perfect fucking fit, right? Like, and by the way, I like taller corners too that have some speed and they're a little bit, bigger, physical. That's the kind of corner I like. I'm not saying I hate smaller corners, but like he fits my mold. If I was a defensive coordinator, like that would be the type of corner I would like on my team. But yeah, if you guys don't recall, I'm reminding you now, like I was one of the first to bring up IGB's name. I remember having Dan Mitchell on as a guest, and I'm like, and he was like, you think IGB? I'm like, and then I think he went live like a week later when other people were like also maybe now jumping in on that, hey, wait, maybe there's something there. And I think now like people are trying to, or people are starting to understand these draft picks that we got here on the defensive side are Leonard guys. These are Leonard's draft picks. Everything else from the past is inherited, right? So, and we're hoping that these guys catch on or like you guys, like Godzilla said earlier, the guys that we have from the McDermott era, the Groots, the Ed Olivers, Christian Benfors, the Bernards, all of these guys can adapt to the new system. And I believe they will. I do, because a lot of those guys are still very young, right? It's not like these guys are set in their ways or they're vets and, they've been in the league 10 plus years. Like, I think these guys still, they can adapt, right? But everything moving forward, starting from this offseason and the free agency and the draft are Leonard guys. Like, and this is what I tried to explain over and over and over and over again. Coaches or GMs sign free agents, draft players for their coaching and coaching staff, meaning they're just not going rogue and getting guys that they feel fits best for the Buffalo Bills. They're sitting down with these coaches and their scouts who are scouting for, what fits the scheme, right? What type of player fits their locker room, like what they envision, right? So trust me when I tell you, Jim Leonard was heavily involved in anything defensively through free agency and the draft, right? And Joe Brady was heavily involved with the offensive side of things, right? Skylar Bell, that was a Joe Brady. Joe Brady was heavily involved in that draft pick, right? Just like I'm trying to tell you guys from years past with Sean McDermott was heavily involved. Brandon Beane wasn't just going out and just going rogue and getting anyone, the total opposite of what Sean McDermott wanted, right? So there's that. You know what I mean? And then I'll prove another point too. I was thinking about this earlier. Sean McDermott was so upset about Ingram, right? Who we released to get God, what's his name? I forget the guy's name, but the guy that played for Philly at one point. I forget his name. Anyways, we tried to pick him up, and he didn't want to play ball for the Buffalo Bills. Remember, he wanted to retire or go to Philly. And Sean McDermott was so upset about Ingram, right? One, the guy was on a practice squad for like 2 years. Two, that year we were hurting with like our corners were going down left and right. He never got called up, right? So it doesn't even make sense to me. So if you love the guy so much, you think the guy has so much potential, why wouldn't you call Ingram up at all that year, right? That's one, right? And the other factor is, why do you think he wanted Ingram here so badly? Just like he wanted AJ Klein, just like he wanted to bring back Jordan Phillips, just like he wanted to bring back all these other guys that played, Josh Norman, right? How about Trent Murphy, right? Why did he want these guys around? Because they knew his defense, right? They were familiar with Sean McDermott's defense. He knew how they were like in the locker room. So he didn't want guys, other guys, right? Like other players that didn't know this. So of course he was upset about that. It had nothing to do with the fact that the guy didn't want to come here or whatever. It had more to do with we're getting rid of a McDermott guy. I mean, if you guys go back in time, we could have saved $8.5 million on the Trent Murphy. If we would have released Trent Murphy that year. But because it was Sean McDermott's guy, he fit his locker room, he knew his system, his new defensive system. We kept Trent Murphy another year. What happened that year? Trent Murphy barely played. He was game day scratch almost the whole year. $8.5 million down the tubes. That's not a Bean decision. That was a Sean McDermott decision. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, so everything moving forward, it's all about what the coaches want. They bring it to the GM. They explain. They're heavily involved. Like every team, right? The GM for the Chiefs isn't going out and just getting whoever for Andy Reid. Like Andy Reid's heavily involved, especially on the offensive side of things. That's how it works across the whole NFL, guys. The moment that doesn't happen is where you have dumpster fires, right? Like where a GM is tug of war with the coach, and you can't have that. So it is what it is. So I'm not saying Brandon Beane was perfect. Once again, I just talk about free agency has been bad, but you guys have to understand this is how things roll in the NFL. So, I met Shaq Thompson. Wish we would resign. Oh, Chubb is way better. Of course he is, Godzilla. Of course he is. His numbers show that. He produces. I'm just so excited this year. I just want people to see what a great defense coordinator looks like and show the Bills fans. It was on him to put him down to prove. Yeah, exactly. That's why, dude, I can't wait. I cannot wait for this season to start. I just can't wait because I'm telling you guys, it's going to say a lot about Sean McDermott's coaching and about Sean McDermott's defensive coaching and his scheme. Because I do believe in Jim Leonard. I do believe in the coaching staff. I do believe Joe Brady can be a better, offensive-minded coach. You know what I mean? I think he has flaws, but I also think Carmichael will correct some of those. You know what I mean? Carmichael's been in the game for a long time, and he did a great job in New Orleans. Got a Super Bowl. So once again, we got some senior guys that are going to help these younger guys out, and Carmichael and John Fox. So a lot of young, innovative coaches in the building, which I love, right? Because the game changes. The game changes every year. But then you got the old heads in the building, Carmichael and John Fox, who are going to be able to help these guys out in certain situations, right? And I love it. That's why I'm excited, too, about this upcoming season. We have a good coaching staff. There's not one guy I really don't care for. Like, I like them all. Like, Joe Brady is the only question mark. And, and it's because he's super young, the youngest coach in the NFL. And I don't think he did, great as an offensive coordinator here. However, because of the coaching staff, I feel like that will help him out, and he could become a good coach and a good offensive-minded a coach for this offense. So, and that's all I need him to do, by the way. That's all I need him to focus on. Let Jim Leonard, and I believe he will, focus on the defense, and we'll be okay. As long as he does that, we'll be fine. The problem is Sean McDermott started butting into the offensive side of things, started showing his stupid face and the offensive side of the, offensive side of things. And it wasn't going to work anymore. Wasn't going to work. I don't understand having a fake OC when Brady's still running the show. Brady should be like being GM and president, head coach. Yeah. So listen, he's not. So how it's working is he's going to be calling the plays, but Carmichael's still the OC. So this is actually good. Okay. Because Carmichael, who's been around a very long time, is going to understand better about what he has in the room, meaning the offensive players. That's kind of where Joe Brady, I felt like he struggled first couple years here. Didn't really understand the players' strengths and use them in this offense, right? Now, that also could be a little bit on Sean McDermott too, handcuffing him a little bit. But I think with those two, plus they, were on the Saints team together, right? Coaches, they have experience with each other, right? They have that chemistry already. They understand each other. They know what each other likes, in offense. So I think Carmichael is going to be more in charge of, putting the offense together, understanding the players, putting players in the positions where they could succeed. And then Joe Brady is going to be the one that's just calling the plays on the field. So it's ultimately like a combined offense. It is Joe Brady's vision, but Carmichael is going to be heavily involved in the offense. If that makes any sense to you, you know what I mean? But I'll agree somewhat with you where for a first-time head coach taking on double duty responsibility of play calling and being a head coach, hopefully it's not too much on his plate year one. But we'll find out. If he feels like he can do it, he can do it. I mean, Sean McVay did that year one too. You know what I mean? And nobody knew Sean McVay right away. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody. Now we can go, oh, Sean McVay is an offensive genius. But we don't know yet. I mean, or at that time, Rams fans didn't know what they were going to get. And Sean McVay was young when he took over. But he did the same thing that Joe Brady's doing, play calling and head coach. So that worked out, right? We'll see if it works out for Joe Brady. Because the Bills scored too fast and put more pressure on McDermott defense. Yeah, that's exactly what he didn't want. So Jerry Hughes 100% telling the truth, but fans love McDermott. Yeah, I know, dude. Trust me, man. I cannot believe the amount of fans that were so upset when he got fired, because I remember for years so many people wanted McDermott gone. I just didn't get it. I don't get it. One of my favorite, or was my favorite pick of the draft. Oh, okay. Dude, I'm excited for Orrs too. Like, I would say my favorite draft pick so far, coming out of this draft, yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be IGB. And by the way, Parker's on there too. I just think Parker, we're going to see the best of Parker once Bradley Chubb's contract's over. But that's not saying he'll play bad for the first 2 years, but he's going to be on like this snap count, right? Rotation. So, but I do believe early on, these guys like Orrs, IGB, even Kilgore, depending on what happens with Sauce Gardner, if he sticks around in the year or not. But these guys all have potential starting right away, if not next season. So, which is exciting. Can you imagine that? Like, if that does pan out to be that way, you got IGB, Orrs, and Kilgore all starting within the first year, the second year, which is a very big possibility that could happen. That's really good. I mean, that's a hit. So we'll find out. No IGB and Harrison. Benford is outside the box. Look, Harrison can also play the slot, by the way. My deal with Harrison and is this, he got hurt really quick in camp. We drafted him, got hurt right away, missed some time. I saw flashes of when he got on the field, he, obviously had some interceptions, but then he got hurt again. Right. So I didn't see enough for me to be totally convinced that Harrison should automatically be CB2. You get what I'm saying? Now, look, I haven't seen IGB either outside of his college film. So I don't know yet. Obviously when you go into the next level, which is the NFL, things are different, right? So we'll find out, like I said. But I still have faith in Harrison. It's not like I'm saying Harrison's a bad player. They're just two different type of players. They got two different games. IGB is a press man cover. You know what I mean? So a press man corner, sorry. So he's more physical at the line there, right? With the receiver. So and he also is just more physical altogether, right? He's a bigger corner. For me, he's a better tackler. So he plays a little bit more aggressive. That's not Harrison's game, right? Benford is subject to concussion. Benford will be fine, bro. Listen, I'm guessing you're a Bills fan, but and you can have your opinion, of course. Christian Benford, he's had some injuries here and there, but I don't put him. I'm not putting him in the category of like Matt Milano or Terrell Bernard or Matt, who else? Trey White. Like, he's missed some games, but Benford's ultimately been relatively healthy. And Benford, honestly, for me, he's a top 10 corner. Just because he doesn't have a lot of interceptions doesn't make him a bad corner. It just means quarterbacks don't throw his way. And if they do, passes are broken up. He's a really good corner. So I think he's actually underrated. I have no problem with Christian Benford, and he earned that contract. So IGB and Harrison is a perfect blend, Bishop and Johnson. And by the way, too, the way that Leonard likes to play his defense, he also likes to rotate his corners on matchups. So don't be shocked either if maybe Harrison is CB2, but depending on the team we're playing against on matchups, you do see a rotation with Harrison and IGB during the season. I'm just throwing that out there. He likes to do that. He said he likes to do that. So just throwing that out there. Bean is asking McDermott, what players are you looking at? They picked them, but it would surprise me if Bean just picked a player. No, he didn't. Oh, Slay. Thank you, Bob. Thank you. I appreciate it. I couldn't, when you're live, man, you got brain farts. Sometimes you just can't get the word out. Yes, Darius Slay. So, yeah. Bean was trying to bring him in. And then McDermott's so upset about fucking Ingram, who he didn't call up at all. Like, you're stashing away a guy just because he's your guy. How about we're trying to bring in somebody who's been a good player in the NFL for a while now, not a guy that you're stashing on the practice squad for no particular reason. Come on, man. What up, Tommy? To the TOP. Yeah, I forgot to say that, Sandra. I did. To the TOP. I did, man. I actually forgot to use that line, that opening when I started this podcast. But that's all right. What up? With the next man up mentality, just because McDermott didn't think he was ready. Yep. It's a complimentary role between Bean, Brady, and Leonard. Exactly. And that's the way it should be. And I'm all caught up with the chat. Sorry if I went on a little roll there. We're still on. We haven't even really started with this down and drop. But I told you guys, we can talk about current Buffalo Bills as well on here, along with the down and drought. Benford should really come into his own this year. Yeah, he will. He will. Like, people are also worried about these players adapting to the new system. Guys, a lot of these players, this isn't like, something that is so unique and different on the defense. Like, a lot of these guys played these defensive schemes in college, in high school and college. Like, it's not like this is something new. A 3-4 is not like, oh, I don't know how to play. I've never seen that before. Like, these guys all, for the most part, probably have all played different schemes throughout high school and college. So they're pros. They're going to catch on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have no worry about guys, not catching on to Jim Leonard's defense. Now, maybe catching on to the pace of it, because I do know that he likes to do a lot of rotations. He also likes to move the line, the defensive line, the front. He likes to move them, shuffle them around a little bit at times, kind of confusing the quarterback. So there's going to be movement on the line, more so, more than ever. Sean McDermott really didn't do a lot of that. He didn't do a lot of disguise looks. He didn't do any exotic blitzes. Very rare, that he did an exotic blitz. That wasn't McDermott's style. So yeah, maybe that part they'll have to kind of get used to, but they're pros. They'll be fine. All right, let's continue this.
In the last couple minutes have indicated he may leave Buffalo without agreeing to a deal, even though we've been hearing all along that the Bills were prepared
Don't
to
leave
make him the richest
Mario.
player
We need you.
in the NFL, defensive player.
No.
According to reports just minutes ago that we've taken in, he may be leaving Buffalo without a deal in hand.
Oh, no.
That
Mario,
is
stay.
not a good sign for the Bills.
He's going out to dinner with Russ Brandon, Buddy Nix, Dave Wannstedt, the new defensive coordinator, Kyle Williams, and Chan Gailey. For me, I just remember thinking, and I'm new at this. I had just come to News 8.
We got to keep Mario here.
The December before this, so not even 4 months.
Oh, man.
And, okay, wow. Biggest fish on the free agent market is Mario Williams, and the Bills are they're not hiding it at all. They are going all in on Mario.
I love
was
it.
Impressed,
I
but
do.
I had very little
That's
exposure to
aggressive
the Bills
move.
at this time. You, Thad,
No
with
problem with that.
multiple years covering the Buffalo Bills. Your thoughts as Mario is the target for the Bills front office?
This is new.
Yeah.
This is different. This is wow. The Bills are going to go not only hard into free agency, but they're going to go after the big tamale. And a guy who, not just, this wasn't T.O., let's make a big splash and make attention. This was a guy that, we thought could be a defensive.
Pretty much what I just said earlier, right?
Guy. This was someone you had the game plan for, not like people we've talked about in the past, Aaron Schobel, Paul Posluszny. This was a legit, franchise-changing defensive player that,
Absolutely.
Was not someone that Buffalo ever could recruit, dollars, aside. So that was the reaction. I think even the first day when he visited, I don't know if many of us took it seriously, that signing could be a possibility, even though in general, if a free agent shows up in your city, you should be considered a front runner to land him.
Yeah, it was surprising that they were even in the conversation.
I wonder why he
that's not a
chose
thing they do.
Buffalo,
They don't
though.
have the money to do that. They don't have
Big
the
as-
floor. Obviously, they
Man,
don't have
he
the
could have went
success
anywhere.
to attract anybody here. But they
Buffalo-
went all in on him. They named
I
a
mean,
steak
who
after
wanted
the
to come to
restaurant they went
Buffalo?
to. I've seen it on the
Let's
menu.
be
It's
real.
It might still be there. Maybe not anymore.
Probably not
But
anymore.
but I mean, this was a very serious push, and it surprised a lot of people that it could even be a thing that this team could do, and with good reason.
To this point, the highest salary they had spent on a player on free agency was $49 million for Derek Dockery in 2007.
Which worked out great.
Yeah, which was just a fantastic move all around. And so just to, the Bills at this point.
Yeah, it wasn't bad,
I would
Bob.
say they are as
It wasn't
irrelevant
bad.
as it gets going
But
into 2012.
it's still Buffalo,
2 seasons
right?
with
Like,
Chan Gailey, a 4-12
you know what I mean?
season and a 6-10 season.
a
following
losing
3
team
seasons
for
with Dick
quite a
Gerard.
while. Like,
I mean, the Bills.
if
could
you're a
not
player,
be
especially as good as
football
Mario
more
Williams,
than at this time. in
yeah,
March of
you know what I
2012.
mean?
So to make a splash,
I'm
like
sure
this,
he could have picked
even
somewhere
if they
else.
didn't land
So
Mario Williams, was
very
like, okay,
surprised he chose
there's
Buffalo.
An intent to bring this team out of the cellar by hook or by crook, even if they don't.
Like, I
land
wonder
Mario
what
Williams. Well, March
the sell
14th,
was.
Williams is at 1
You know what I mean?
the
I'm
whole
sure
day,
they had a
with
pitch,
his
right?
fiance flying.
But what was
That's
the final
an interesting
sale?
Decision. You probably don't want to bring the
What
family
made
in.
Mario Williams
You're gonna
go?
Leave town the next day, and I remember
Yeah,
for me,
I can see it. You know
John
what I mean?
Fletcher,
Okay,
who we all
you
know
got
and
me.
love,
I'm coming to Buffalo.
told me
Like,
the night
I would love
before,
to know.
Go to One Bills Drive, just spend the whole day there. I'm like, what to get what? Just whatever you get. I'm like, but there's nothing. If he doesn't, I can't go in the meeting room. Like, where do you want me to be? It's like,
Maybe because he
hang out in
knows he'll be
parking lot, go in
the
meeting room, see if there's anyone
the
around,
face of the
and just kinda
franchise
be
for a
there.
couple years.
And I
Maybe
spent
that.
the whole day at
I don't
One Bills
know.
Drive,
'Cause
basically,
he was our
refreshing
best
Twitter,
player, probably.
and then just
Right.
like just trying to find any breadcrumbs.
Like,
that would
if you
signify
look
that
at the
Mario
roster, he
Williams
would
is
be,
here. We are in full on Mario
like,
watch.
our
He's
Josh
been here
Allen at that
all
time,
afternoon,
right?
And I was talking with some
Let's be
colleagues
real.
a short while ago, and never have we seen a big-time free agent remain in one place
Matt
pretty
Castle.
much
Oh.
and not sign.
Wow,
We know
so you went to
this.
the
Mario
2012, okay.
Williams is still here on the grounds at One Bills Drive in Orchard
That's pretty
Park.
cool,
He's
bro.
inside the Bills offices. He is not yet signed that we know of on the dotted line.
What
It
was
is
the
mission
sale
number
pitch,
one for the
boy,
Bills
for
football
Mario?
team to get
I would have
this
loved to have been in that
deal
room to
done
hear what they were
tonight
pitching him.
without fail. Now, Williams arrived here yesterday afternoon. He's been here about 24 hours. The team wined and dined him. He is the prize free agent other than Peyton Manning in this free agent market. And if the Bills are going to be a legitimate contender, and
I'm looking at that, all right?
they have to get this
Outside of Peyton Manning, this was the hottest free agent available.
If he leaves here without a deal,
And the fucking Buffalo Bills got him?
So-called experts here is
wild, bro.
that if he's not signed tonight, it doesn't get done.
Like, it wouldn't shock
They
me if
lose
something
out.
like that
This would
happened
be
in
a
today's
PR
day and
fiasco.
age.
So the
You know,
good
players
news
want to
right
play
now,
for
we're gonna
Buffalo
try to
now.
look at it from the Bills fan standpoint,
then?
the good news is he is still here. Talks are ongoing, and the Bills have pulled out all the stops. I mean, Mario's fiance came in this afternoon, looked around the city.
Boy, we must have wined and dined him
wives.
big time,
The Bills
boy.
are doing everything they can on selling him to become a Buffalo Bill and to lead this franchise out of the cellar that has been in since the 2000 season. We are not going anywhere. We're staying here every step of the way. Follow me.
Look at
please,
that.
on
I mean, this was
Twitter
that.
at John_.
This was that
Very
big of a
active
deal,
on Twitter today.
right?
And we'll
Holy
try to
shit!
figure
We got
out what's
Mario
going on, but
Williams
it is a fluid
visiting.
situation, to say the least. We're covering.
He's actually talking.
I think I was in
to us.
Cleveland or Pittsburgh.
You may
with
sign here.
Syracuse
What
basketball
the
team
fuck?
For the first 2 rounds of the tournament.
We're not
And
going
I could
anywhere.
That was the Fab Mello team.
Yes, and I was
Oh
never
my
more
God,
enthralled
dude.
out of Bill's news cycle that I was those 3 days watching all of you guys. I wouldn't refresh Twitter. I'd refresh every hour. Oh, they're still there.
I wasn't on Twitter back then. I wish I was.
Media lunch from the Syracuse basketball tournament. Yeah.
And watching a March Madness game from courtside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it
pretty good
really
game.
was terrible. It was, I wish I was with you guys.
Oh, it was a real hoot. The following day, day 3 of Mario Watch continues. Chris Morton.
Mario Watch.
A presser is scheduled for 1:30 in the afternoon. It
That's
looks
the best part.
imminent. Here we go. Mario Williams is joining the Buffalo Bills. So everybody get your cameras ready. 1:30 he'll be here before you know it. So we're in Orchard Park. We're ready. We're in the Bills media room. Just bring him out. Let's get that released. Let's bring Mario Williams out. And it's 2 o'clock. Okay. It's
Nothing
2:30.
yet.
3 o'clock.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
What is happening? Why have we heard nothing? Where is Mario Williams?
See, with a press conference, being a half hour late is not crazy. You get past a half hour, you get to an hour, then something bad has happened. Yeah.
Why? What are we doing? Now it's 3:30, and did he leave? Did he get cold feet? Everyone is reporting that Mario Williams has signed with the Buffalo Bills, and now everyone's wondering, why have they not had a press conference? Where are the Bills on this? Then at 4 o'clock, the Buffalo Bills send out a release that they have officially signed Mario Williams, and that the press conference is in 10
The
minutes.
sale pitch worked. Whatever
And
they
so
did.
We just scrambled in the media room at One Bills Drive and got everything ready, and away we went. As
Buddy
Mario
Nix
Williams
got
signs
it.
a
Buddy Nix got it
big
there.
deal, a 6-year deal, $96
Come on now,
million,
Mario.
the highest paid player in the NFL.
Come on, Mario. Come on to Buffalo.
Free agency
I'm gonna
contract
buy you
in
all the
history.
wings you want to
After
get.
3 days of courtship and
There you go.
painstaking negotiation sessions, the Bills finally landed their guy today, making defensive end Mario Williams the highest paid player defensively in the NFL. Prescott Rossi joins us live by way of satellite from One Bills Drive. Prescott, take it away.
Look at that. The old stadium.
For Mario
No
Williams,
longer.
The press conference was originally scheduled for 1:30, then 1:45, then after 4 o'clock. But with $96 million going to Mario Williams, you got to make sure all those I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But Mario Williams is a
he got
Buffalo
paid.
Bill. He's excited for the challenge of turning around a franchise that hasn't reached the postseason.
But he lived up to
since
his contract.
2000.
I
There
mean,
you
I'm
go.
just so excited to come here and to see the city and like Buddy said, it's one of those things where you hear so much about, the living here and everything until you actually get here and see what's here and see what's in front of you and see the fans and everything that this great city has to offer. It definitely got the message point across.
I just want to tell you, it's an exciting day for us, for our football team. We got a lot better.
This guy.
For our organization,
He loved his vest.
It's been a long day or a long 2 days, but it's worth the wait.
It was refreshing just to see the Bills spend that kind of money. It made them feel like a real NFL team for the first time in years. And he helped on the field. Their defense was bad. Yep. He was going to make the defense better. And, any doubts about the signing, I don't think anybody had any. I remember the first time I saw Mario at the first minicamp practice when veterans showed up. He looked different than any other NFL player I've ever seen.
Oh, buddy.
I've seen bigger guys. I've seen larger guys in terms of mass. This guy, he looked like a sculpture, you know, and he was not just.
Remember, he used to
little
wear
wide
those red
receiver that has
contacts.
been,
I loved it.
sculpted together. This
Dude
was
looked like a
big guy.
fucking
He come into a Bills
like
uniform,
a beast
and
on
you could
that
tell
got
why everyone was enamored with him
rabies.
at the draft, after the draft, and
Like,
free
the
agency.
dude looked
Just
wild,
when
bro.
he put on a uniform, he looked like a guy that would change a game.
Williams is excited about the
Give me one of those guys,
possibility of
right?
turning around a defense
It's a
that was
fucking
ranked 26th in the
crazy
NFL
person.
last season.
You don't get many chances like this and opportunities to come in and
Put
and
fear
be
in the
guy who,
offensive line.
can help the team get across the hump, and that's definitely what I'm here for. My whole intention is to come here.
Man, he
and work with
towers those
like
guys.
Kyle and Ladarius and make this thing happen. I feel like it's a great opportunity for myself and the team, and for us to succeed and get better.
For the longest time, there was never any question. I mean, he was signed and was picked before the Texans actually had the draft pick. I mean, it was so clear that he was the guy that should be there. It was so clear that he was the number one, targeted free agency. And they put the money
Possibly,
like you said, where they should have put it,
Godzilla.
because the defense still struggled.
I think so.
They brought in Darius. That was the right move as well. But they still had a long way to go there, and that was it. He was the right
I mean,
pick
if you
for
think
sure.
about that defense
Couple
right
days
now,
later,
you got
Russ
Marcel
Brandon
Darius,
in an interview with
Mario
WGR,
Williams,
says the team has added
and Stephon Gilmore, who they
1,400
drafted.
tickets, and this
I
is
mean,
coming off years where blackouts are routinely an issue.
That's
in
not a bad
November and
defense.
December.
That's not
And
bad.
now your season-
3
the
players
season
to have
ticket
on your
base
squad.
grow after so many bad years, and you're seeing the impact of Mario Williams. And the first game's not
and
for
Kyle
another
Williams
5
was on the
months
team too.
with
Who
this
else was on the
Bills
team that year?
Then in free agency, the Bills. So okay, they have
On
they
the
have
defense.
one,
Let me see here.
swing and a connection. Now they have a swing and miss because on March 21st, the Bills signed Mark Anderson, defensive end, for a
that didn't
4-year,
work.
$27.5 million contract after a 10-sack season with New England. Bills have not learned their
You're
lesson.
gonna have
that,
those bad
if
signs.
Bill Belichick has no time for this player.
Jarius Byrd,
you need to
I
avoid
thought
that
he
as
was
well.
pretty good.
Because Mark Anderson did not make an impact in 2020.
George
And he
Wilson,
was
who
thought as a guy that could be
I
like
met
the,
at a bachelor party. He was
lesser
good.
version of Mario,
Safety.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot lesser.
Put him
but
on the other
Yeah, we
side.
didn't have a
supposed to be
ter-
an impact player.
Pretty good
It's
players.
supposed to be, wow, we got Mario and this other guy who's going to be great with Mario and Darius on the other side.
Yeah,
no
10
one's,
sacks in New
no
England,
one's going to block him, so he's going to be fine. That was the thing.
We had Merriman, right?
He did not
We had,
miss it.
I believe we had Merriman too. Yeah, we did.
No stakes for Mark Anderson. The NFL draft, Thursday, April 26th. The Bills have the 10th overall pick. And so, okay, they have
Here
their
we go.
guys at the Bills' defensive line. Now they look at the secondary, especially after losing Whitner. And guys are getting kind of older. Terrence McGee's been with the team for
Merriman
a long time.
didn't really
Greg
work
Florence,
out,
who knows
though.
what his contract situation is going to be. They draft Stephon Gilmore, defensive back out of South Carolina. I know Thad, you were at the draft that year in New York City. Just the immediate reaction to the Gilmore pick at number 10.
Solid pick. Yeah. Not spectacular. Not blowing anybody away. I remember thinking, I don't remember who the choices were. I had other guys on my list then.
I
so
liked
wasn't
the
bothered
pick
by
at the
Gilmore.
time.
I'm happy the Buffalo Bills picked me, and they're going to be happy with their decision.
There's a guy in that division that has owned the AFC East for the last decade, Tom Brady.
He's a great quarterback. Like I said, can't take nothing from him, but I got to prove myself. This is only a start right here.
Look into the camera, and there's a lot of Bills fans in Western New York, particularly in Rochester. What's your message to them tonight?
Go Bills.
There you go,
The thing
Stephon
with
Gilmore.
him
Go
was
Bills.
Immediately, you get to do the interview with him right away after he's picked down there in New York City. And right away, you could tell this was not going to be a loquacious individual for the Bills.
Yeah.
He was very, kept to himself, quiet speaker. And, I thought from a media point of view, this might be a pain in the neck to talk to over the years. And for the most part, he was, although the more he got comfortable, the more he was willing to say things later in his Bills career. But at the time, he was just not a media presence guy. I remember thinking he better be good because no one's going to fall in love with this guy in terms of how he is in front of a microphone.
Yeah, he didn't say much. That's
Yeah.
a lot of the picks that would come in. I mean, Lynch is probably the most famous example, is that he was bombastic and could talk, and you can be excited about him. And Spiller again is another example. And then you kind of got to it's a position they needed to to get somebody in there for, but it certainly wasn't exciting in any way. It was just like, okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't have to talk to him, so I was fine with it.
Yeah, no, the numbers look good. He had good combine numbers. It's funny bringing it back to the present. Tre'Davious White gets drafted in 2017, and I was in Philadelphia for that draft. And this is a dude you could talk to all night. I mean, this is just a guy that has a lot to say. He's intelligent. His story is obviously very inspiring, and he just speaks very well. And so you in this business.
So I got another quiz for you guys. In this draft, 2012 draft, round 3, we picked up TJ Graham. Okay. Who could the Bills have picked up in that 3rd round besides TJ Graham? And I'll give you a clue. He's a Super Bowl winner. He's a Super Bowl winner and maybe borderline Hall of Famer. I mean, borderline. I'm not 100% sure if he'll get in or not. But who could the Bills have picked up in the third round besides TJ Graham? Wow, he was quick. You were quick. You got it right. Russell Wilson. He went 5 picks. I think it was 5 picks later. Russell Wilson went to Seattle. So it happens. I mean, it happens. So, yes, Russell Wilson was sitting there, but they believed in Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what I mean? So, but they could have had Russell Wilson if they wanted to. But, I mean, this is kind of the story of the Buffalo Bills back then. You know what I mean? Missing out, drafting certain players, missing out on certain, and the quarterback position was really, I mean, that's it. You have to have a franchise quarterback if you're trying to win a Super Bowl. And I like Fitzpatrick, but he wasn't a franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? And we didn't have one for the longest time. I mean, since Jim Kelly and then finally Josh Allen, but we were just missing, J.P. Lossman, Trent Edwards, E.J. Manuel. You know what I mean? Like, and then Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then all the, free agent quarterbacks that, and they had opportunities, and right there is one of them. You know what I mean? Like, it happens, man. It happens. Everything happens for a reason. It does. And who knows if Russell Wilson is any good in Buffalo, right? We don't know that either. You know what I mean? But I would think he would have been better, to be honest with you, than probably Ryan Fitzpatrick. You know what I mean? Like, but you're right. Sometimes certain players are meant to go somewhere in their career. So who knows? We could have got Russell Wilson and just totally ruined his career, right? Started Ryan Fitzpatrick over him. And, by the time Russell Wilson gets a shot, he's already, who knows? He's already lost his confidence or whatever the hell happened. You're right. Everything happens for a reason. But we still, that's the point is, we still drafted TJ Graham over Russell Wilson. I think after Josh retires, I think from here on out, we pick good to great quarterbacks like Green Bay. Yeah, we better find one. All I remember TJ Graham for is when he did the push up in the end zone on a kick return for the Jets. Yeah, what's funny? When I was, people that know me like family. Obviously, family and really close friends. They call me TJ. So I was called TJ as a baby, and TJ throughout elementary and middle school and high school. So when we drafted him, I was all for it. Just like TJ Parker, I'm like, yeah, he has my name, TJ. But it's funny. Because I used to collect cards, and of course, I went through some financial shit, so I had to sell pretty much all my cards. I kept a few, but I have this one card, and the only reason I like it is because it's a TJ Graham card. But I'll tell you why. Hold on, let me see. Of course, all dusty. So that's a TJ and the Wolf Pack. I just, even though that's because it was college, right, where he went to college, but it's like his jersey, but it says Wolf Pack, and I just thought that was really, really cool. I think I paid I saw it in like a card. I think I was at a card show, and it was like in the dollar bin. So I'm like, yeah, I'll get that. Pretty cool. So I kept that. But yeah, good old TJ Graham. Yeah, memories, man. I'm telling you, man. All right, ignore that message there. All right, you're right. All right, let's get going.
You come across so many different people. It's the people that kind of.
I wonder if they mention it. They probably will.
Just seems to check all the boxes of like a good person. And
about Russell Wilson.
You don't know these people, but you kind of pull for Tre'Davious White. Whereas Stephon Gilmore, you don't know anything about him. So who is this guy? And so I totally get where you were coming from with that. So the second round, the Bills have the 41st pick. They take Cordy Glenn, a massive, human being. In a different way, though, from Mario Williams. 6'6", 345 pounds out of Georgia.
Cordy Glenn was fine.
And,
I didn't have a problem with
Cordy
Cordy Glenn.
Bobby Wagner goes to Seattle 6 picks later. And, a couple all-pros. He's a linebacker.
I mean, I get it. We could have got Wagner, but Cordy Glenn wasn't bad.
Thought the Cordy Glenn pick was actually better than the Gilmore pick.
It might have been. And the question there was, could he play
He's a
tackle?
pretty good
He
offensive
came out of
lineman.
college as a
That's
guy
no problem.
projected to be guard, and you're thinking if the Bills are going to spend that pick, he needs to be a tackle. And a lot of people thought he could be, and as it turns out, he's been a very fine left tackle for a long time.
Yeah.
Then in the third round, the Bills have the nicest pick in
Here
the
you
draft,
go.
pick 69. They take T.J. Graham, wide receiver, out of NC State. They traded up
NC
two
State.
spots to
That's
even
why the
get this
Wolfpack.
pick.
I was trying to remember
while this is
the
going
college.
on, and I mentioned Bobby Wagner, that those same Seattle Seahawks.
There you go. They do mention it.
Sweating bullets that the Bills are going to take a quarterback with this third round pick because Fitzpatrick is, yes, he got this big contract back in 2011. But they know what the ceiling is.
Good point,
Everyone
Trek. Good
sees what the
point.
ceiling
Look at
is.
Trek.
And
Trek coming with the knowledge. Good stuff, Trek.
They said this. They said that their biggest fear for them when they had pick 75 was the Bills at pick 71, then 69.
Appreciate everybody rocking with me today, by the way.
They took TJ.
I love
Graham
doing
at left,
these
Russell
series,
Wilson
man. It's so much fun going back
for
in
the
time.
Seahawks at pick 75. And I remember watching Russell Wilson at Wisconsin and thinking he was a really talented quarterback. Didn't think he would become, the Pro Bowl and Super Bowl winning quarterback he's become. But the fact that the Bills passed on Russell to take TJ Graham, a guy where we've seen through the drought, they get enamored with some kind of thing that a guy is really good at. And in this case, TJ Graham is lightning quick. Nobody knew if he could actually play football, but he was just fast. And to me, and we've said this throughout the drought, the Bills' inability to draft well is the single reason why there have been 17 years without a playoff appearance. And so, I don't remember being particularly impressed with the TJ Graham pick. Didn't think Russell Wilson would become great.
You guys,
but,
I just put the Discord link in the
player this time
in the chat. So if you guys want to join the Discord, the Mafia Sports Report Discord,
Roscoe Parishes.
the link is in the is in the chat.
6'4". Give me 6'4". Give me a guy that can go up in the air, win jump balls. And the Bills continually wanted to go small.
Tommy, these episodes are interesting. I hated football. I heard all about this.
They did not have.
Remember the drought years, but I wasn't a fan until McDermott was hired. All right. See, Sandra, I'm glad you're enjoying this because
5'9", and with Graham over the years.
Look, sorry to pause that. Let me pause that real quick. I get that, like Mikey, he's not interested at all in this. This is why he doesn't join me with this. This isn't like his cup of tea. He doesn't want to go back in time and remember the drought, and I get it. Some fans just that live through this, they don't want to revisit it, right? They want to kind of erase that memory. But for me, I don't mind it. I like going back in time because I lived through this. I understand it. It's good to see how far this team has come, and what craziness looks like. How this happened, right? What were the mistakes that were made? Right during a 17-year drought. And then also, like I said, there's some things that I don't recall, or there's some things that I totally forgot about. And it's cool to just kind of go back and watch these player interviews, the coaches interviews, the owners interviews. And then for the people that didn't live through the drought or didn't watch this team like Sandra, this is good for them to kind of understand what we went through and what a bad team can look like, right? And when it's mismanaged, and when you don't have a good starting quarterback, and when you got really bad draft picks, right? Or you're missing out on players through the draft. This is good for you to understand how this all happened, right? And now look at the team and look at the growth and look at everything that we've accomplished in this run of really 9 years, let's say, right? It's night and day compared to what we went through through the 17 years. And obviously it starts with Josh because you found your franchise quarterback. But once again, look how hard it was for the Buffalo Bills. And it's not just the Buffalo Bills. The Miami Dolphins are still trying to find their quarterback since Dan Marino retired. You know what I mean? Look at the Jets. You know what I mean? They still haven't found their quarterback. There's still teams that are struggling to find a franchise quarterback. It's not that easy. right? It takes a lot of misses, right? Through drafts, through free agency. And the Bills went through it. And you got to find that guy. And thank God the Bills finally found their guy in the 2018 draft with Josh Allen, right? But it's not that easy. It really isn't. Like, I want fans to know that. Like, and some of them don't. Some of them are just like, oh, that's all Brandon Beane ever did. That's all he ever did. Josh Allen, that's it. And that's not true. He's done more than that. But that one thing that he did do, that they're just saying, oh, that's all he did. That one thing changed the franchise. That one thing changed everything moving forward for the Buffalo Bills. And those are facts. That is a fact. That's not just me just putting Brandon Beane on this, high pedestal. That there, it took us 17 motherfucking years. Sorry, more than 17. 18 years to find. 18 with multiple GMs here that missed on quarterbacks. Like we're just talking about. Russell Wilson sitting there right there in the third round. We took TJ Graham. We had plenty of opportunity to get quarterbacks through the years. We didn't because our GMs couldn't find it or they drafted the wrong guy. And once again, we're not the only team that this happens to. The Dolphins are still looking. The Jets are still looking today. You have to get that guy in-house. It's easier said than done, is my point, right? Easier said than done. Cleveland is still looking for the quarterback, right? So, once again, getting a franchise quarterback is not that easy in the NFL. Right? Arizona's still looking for the quarterback. Like there's I can go down the list. So yes, that is his main guy. That's the one guy that is his best draft pick ever. But look how long it took. It took us 18 years to find that guy. And Brandon Beane is the guy that's responsible. So absolutely you should tip your cap to Brandon Beane because all the other guys didn't do that. None of them. Matter of fact, in 2017, when Sean McDermott was first hired here, before Brandon Beane was hired as GM, his first draft ever, he traded away Patrick Mahomes' pick for the Chiefs for Trey White. So if Brandon Beane doesn't draft Josh Allen in 2018, work his magic and trade up, and get Allen, we possibly could still be looking for our franchise quarterback. But nobody wants to think about that. Nobody wants to talk about it. Everybody just wants to shit on Brandon Beane. But that shit could have went sideways real quick. Real quick. We could have still be searching for a quarterback today. Right? Or let's say if it's a different GM, maybe we get Josh Rosen. How was that going to work out? It wouldn't have. So, that's all I'm saying. Like when it comes to finding that a quarterback, it's so important and it's not that easy. And we know this. We lived through this. But yeah, the problem with the Buffalo Bills in this run was they never had a franchise quarterback to build around. So you can get all the Mario Williams. You can get the Takeo Spikes, the London Fletchers, right? You can get the CJ Spillers, the Marshawn Lynches, right? Who else? Willis McGahee. You can have an Eric Moles on your team, a Lee Evans. But if you don't have a franchise quarterback, it's going to be very difficult for you to be a good team. Or at least a consistently good football team. And it starts right there because that's how you build your team. You have to have the face of the franchise and it has to be the quarterback. Plain and simple. It can't be a Mario Williams. And I love Mario Williams. But let's be real. Mario Williams, his signing was so big because he was the face of the franchise, but he's not the quarterback. It's just not going to work out. It wouldn't work. It's very rare a team could go all the way without having that. It's happened, but it's rare, and it doesn't happen a lot. Tampa did it with Brad Johnson, right? Who else did it? Baltimore did it with Flacco. No disrespect to Flacco. He's a good quarterback, but he's not a franchise quarterback. But that's rare. It doesn't happen a lot. Unfortunately, I remember all of this. Laugh aloud, just joking. Some of the best memories of being a Bills fan. Yeah, dude. And you know what's funny? A lot of these players were like some of my favorite players of all time. Like, obviously, my favorite player is Eric Moles. But, dude, on this drought teams, guys, the droughts, I'm telling you guys, I got their jerseys. Like some of these players, like I'm like are my favorites. McGee, right? Willis McGahee, Lee Evans, obviously Eric Moulds, Kyle Williams, Paz. I'm sure I'm missing some, you know what I mean? But a lot of them, were really good players. Unfortunately, just not a good team. Bean is a man. He is. He gets, man, I just don't understand why people shit on him so much. I don't, man. I really don't. They want to act like Allen's is only, the only thing that he did, and that's false. Now, like I said earlier, free agency has been his flaw. It's not been good. He has spent a lot of money on players that have not performed well. I like that there. He has to correct. He has to fix. And I'm hoping he fixed it, with this free agency class that we did this offseason. But outside of that, if you really look at it, and like I said earlier, I'm not gonna totally go over this again, but for as bad as the free agent signings have been, and they've been bad. I'm not gonna lie. They have not produced. That kind of tells you how good the draft picks have been. Because the NFL is the ultimate team sport. And yes, you need a franchise quarterback, and that helps a lot. But you still, once again, you need an offensive line. You need a receiver to catch the ball down the field. You need some type of defensive play. So if you look at the draft picks, the majority are still here. Majority are still are starters. There's the ones that have been carrying this team with Josh Allen. And it's been consistent, meaning we make the playoffs pretty much every year, 8 out of the 9 years. So how bad could the draft picks be if we're getting into the playoffs 8 out of the last 9 years? And we're not just barely getting into the playoffs. We won the divisions 5 straight seasons. And I think we're averaging 11 wins per season, maybe 11 and a half. So it's not like we're barely squeezing in and we're missing the playoffs every other year. We're a consistently good team, and the majority of our players starting are draft picks. So once again, love Allen, elite. He helps a lot, but you still have to have a team around you that does their part, or you're not going anywhere. And the proof to that point that I'm making is if you look at the elite quarterbacks in the AFC, outside of Mahomes, Burrow, and Jackson, both of them have missed playoffs. Both of them. Right? So, and they're elite quarterbacks. We're not talking about they're just good quarterbacks. They're elite. They're tier 1. They're up there with Josh. They're up there with Mahomes. So what happened with them? Right? If you just haven't, if you're telling me that all you need is an elite quarterback, you'll get to playoffs no matter what, that is a lie. That is false. That is false. Dan Marino was elite. He's missed playoffs. There's been quarterbacks that have been elite that have missed playoffs throughout the course of the history of the NFL. So it's not guaranteed because you have an elite quarterback, you're going to make the playoffs. Does it boost your chances of it? Sure. But you still need to have the rest of your team play their part. And the Buffalo Bills have played their part, their roster. I think and that's why I go back to the head coach, and that's why I wanted him fired. And people want to push back with that opinion of mine, and that's okay. Look, once again, and I want to say this too: everyone's going to have their own opinion, and I respect it. I get it. Everybody sees the game differently. Everybody, right? And that's life in general, right? When you have politics going back and forth, they all are bringing up their own stats and their reasoning on why they believe this is the way to do it. And the other guy's going, no. I believe this is the way to do it. I pulled up this stat and they're seeing things differently. And that's okay. That's the way it works. Same thing with religion. Well, this is the book that we should be. No, this is the book because this is what guys, it's all about how everyone sees things differently. Everybody does their own research. Everybody believes in different kind of research that they do is the right research. It's how it goes, and that's never going to change. So I'm not dissing anyone's opinion. If you don't agree with me, I'm not going to hate on you. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I never said that. Like, and I'm been getting that from like certain people, and it bothers me because the one thing I do on this channel, guys, the one fucking thing that I do on this channel is I pretty much answer all of your guys' chat. I acknowledge your chats. If you guys comment me on a YouTube video I did, I normally respond pretty much 99% of the time. But if you come at me with an opinion that I don't agree on, of course I'm going to respond. Because if I don't, then you're going to be like, why am I even chatting? Why am I sending this comment to Tommy if he's just going to not say anything? So of course I'm going to respond. And if I don't agree with it, I'm going to say, hey, here's why I don't agree with it. But that doesn't mean I'm shutting you down. That means I'm simply responding. And sometimes, guys, there comes a point in a debate where you have to agree to disagree. It's just the way it works. And it's not. And when someone says that, that doesn't mean that person, oh, I won the debate because this person wants to agree to disagree and stop debating me. No, that just means it's not going anywhere. That you hit a wall, right? You hit a wall and it's time to step away. That's all. You know what I mean? But I want to make that point clear, man. This channel is not about pushing my opinion down your throat. You have to listen to it. You have to agree with it. It's the gospel. I'm not saying that. This is just my channel, and I'm gonna come on here and I'm gonna give you guys my opinion, my takes. But once again, I'm not forcing it down anyone's throat, and I don't want you guys to feel like I am. So, I don't know. It just bothers me sometimes that people are like, oh, anything, someone says something bad about Brandon Bean, then you're gonna freak out and call him idiot. Like, dude, I never do that. I never do that. But we don't have many of the free agent problems was McDermott not using players. Right. Well, some of them he didn't. I mean, the proof is there. Poona Ford, Tim Settle. Wyatt Teller. How about Wyatt Teller? How about the fact that we had Wyatt Teller that being drafted and Bobby Johnson and Sean McDermott ultimately made the decision to trade Wyatt Teller? When you had a future all-pro guard right there on a cheap rookie deal. So there's that. You know what I mean? But that's a different time, man. You need a great coach or a great GM and a good to great defense. Yeah. I vividly remember those audacious losses to Seattle and San Francisco. I just wanted you to... Jeremy coming in. Just wanted you to know you might have a subscriber the other day. That you lost one the other day, but you gained one today. You have great content here. I'm setting sail for Bean Island. Go Bills. Hey, Jeremy, thank you so much. Welcome to Mafia Sports Report, man. I read all comments. You guys are all welcome here anytime. And honestly, man, even if you don't agree with me, and I got a lot of people that don't agree with my opinions, but that still are subscribers, still enjoy the content. Because I respect all of you guys. I really do, man. And I want you guys to have fun with me. This isn't a serious fucking podcast. You guys know that. I'm goofy as hell. But I know my football. I know, and I especially know my Buffalo Bills football. And I'm not afraid to debate anybody on that. I have debated with multiple people on different podcasts. And I know my football. No one's going to discredit me on that one. I know my team. I know this team. I've been watching this team since '89. This is what I do, right? You know what I mean? Buffalo Bills football is my passion. So this isn't an X's and O's channel, so I'm not going to bore you to death on film breakdown. And I'm not saying that's bad. There's an audience for that. But we're going to sit here. We're going to talk Buffalo Bills football. We're going to talk other stuff. We're going to do shows like this from time to time. This is a great podcast. One of the best. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. And anyways, if you want to also join the Discord, the link is in the chat. I should pin it. Let me give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to pin the Discord link in the chat. Give me 1 second. Let me do that real quick for you guys. This way you have that. Let me pin it. All right. Let's pin it in the chat. All right. And then I believe I could pin it. Pin message. Okay, cool. So if you guys look, there is the Discord link that's pinned in the chat. So join the Discord, man. If you guys want to talk Buffalo Bills football, I pretty much respond all the time if I'm available to do so. But if I don't, other Bills Mafia might. I just started yesterday, so we're kind of slowly starting to build the Discord up. And I'm new at Discord, and maybe some of you guys are too. But it's basically like a group chat, guys. That's really all it is. And yeah, man, let's just have fun on the group chat and talk Bills football and talk whatever, man. All right, let's get back to this, man. Man, this is going to be a long show because we're not even close to being done here.
Talk to him. He was a really smart guy. Incredibly intelligent.
Good Lord,
And
Tommy
I always
keeps
thought
talking.
He was too smart for his own good. Because
Hour and 40
he was
minutes in,
thinking
we're not
right
even
and
close to
just
being
play the
done.
game.
Yikes.
And that's what caused him to drop balls and be in the wrong
That's
spot.
all right.
Whatever. Regardless, at the time, I hated the pick because I was tired of that type of receiver playing in Buffalo.
Well, and they got burned by going after a big guy in James Hardy, which, I mean, maybe they decided to go away from that. But again, that was just a miss. And like the thing that I think about a lot when I go through these games and these drafts, and I think about why the Bills are where they are and have been there for so long, is no one's trying to be bad. Nobody wants to fail. But there are these little moments where, you choose a direction that is the wrong way to go. And, the argument for taking, Russell Wilson there is that, you have a guy who has a big contract, and he was not exactly
it's pretty bad, bro.
Right? Start right. He did, but there was a lot of talk.
31 points. Yikes.
You have some time, you develop him. Bills had a perfect situation for that, really. Because if you wanted Fitzpatrick to play and you say, hey, you pick him.
Jesus,
you go
right?
to the podium and you say,
52 to
this
28
is for us. We want to make sure we have this position it's locked down. And then you give your quarterback a vote of confidence immediately. And it's fine. There'll be some talk.
52 points is ridiculous.
You have a plan in place. And instead, you have to adjust.
We'll get there. I'm sure they'll talk about it, but holy crap.
And they did it poorly. And that's how it goes. This is how you stack all of these things up, and then you're not making the playoffs.
Even Russell Wilson that season, they may have been sweating bullets to get him.
I mean, I wasn't a fan of McDermott's defense, but at least he didn't give up 52
even
points.
give him a leg up to be the second quarterback, let alone the first.
Right. And even if the Bills draft him, and to your point, if Fitz is the starter, Russell Wilson's competing with Tyler Thigpen. Like he has an opportunity to.
On paper, the Buffalo situation was a whole lot better than the Seattle situation for Russell Wilson.
Right.
Well, that's not how, of course, the cookie crumbles. In the fourth round, the Bills take Nigel Bradham, linebacker out of Florida State, and Ron Brooks, a defensive back out of LSU. Just happens to be another defensive back who's also out there at the time that they don't take, and that would be Josh Norman, who goes to the Carolina Panthers.
Josh Norman, but we did wind up getting him
it's
late in his career.
Position of need, and it's just the wrong.
We still wind up getting Josh Norman
another team
years later.
Make this pick, and you see obviously.
Man, love that you go for more than an hour when I need more than an hour of content, and your content is professional and entertaining. Hey, I appreciate you, dude. I've gone on for 3 hours.
Some of the log,
it just depends how the chat's rolling, man. Honestly, the chat is what steers this podcast, bro.
Deserves more money.
So
and we
I go as long as the chat is pretty much talking, man.
With Tyler Thigpen for the backup role, and I remember when this happened because I just happened to be home, and
yes, we got that. Josh Norman,
and I was at home.
Unfortunately,
I was just kind of hanging out.
Josh Norman was awesome. He was just not awesome with
jumping
us.
In the shower, taking like a 6-minute shower,
you know what I mean?
Throwing on clothes, getting in the car, driving as responsibly as possible to One Bills Drive in Orchard Park, and getting into the media room with maybe 35 seconds to spare. For Vince Young,
yes. who was even then obviously on his last opportunity in the NFL,
And so for me,
did Johnson do that? I didn't.
Oh, he sure did.
Okay,
it was a Friday, but
Josh Reed.
Remember, I'm doing.
I like Josh Reed, slot receiver.
Backup.
He wasn't bad at all.
And also, How many teams have press?
We also have a
conferences
Josh
back?
Reed,
This is the same Tebow
Bills
press conference, wasn't it?
like
No,
press
probably
guy.
next
I
week.
think.
No, Tebow joins.
Right?
Tebow
Like
joins
there's
the
some
Jets
guy
game
named
as
Josh
well.
Reed that
So
covers
probably
the
pretty
Buffalo
close to the
Bills.
Super Bowl press conference, yes.
So and then on Tuesday, May 22nd, the Bills and Rogers Communications agree on a 5-year extension of the Toronto series to take them to 2017. And I mean, obviously, we know what happens in the interim, but we're still talking about Toronto.
Toronto series.
In
Coming up this
reality,
season.
yeah. Oh my God. So in training camp, Sean Merriman released. The experiment hasn't worked.
Merriman
Terrell
gone.
On injured reserve. He's still recovering from back
Sorry.
injuries that he suffered during training camp.
What was his
the
name?
year
TKO?
before. And
Lights out.
Now, obviously, the troop is a bust. And
Lights out,
the pick
Merriman.
after him is Rob Gronkowski. So these alarm bells.
A little bit. I think Shakir's a little bit more faster.
His story
and I think Shakir can play more of a role than the slot.
Went through serious
I just
health
feel like we
problems,
stuck him in the
and
slot
really
a
tried
little
to get
bit
back
too
in the
much.
field and just
But we'll see what they do with Shakir. I'm very curious what they do with him. I thought he was on. I thought he wasn't used to his full potential last year.
That's not how it.
So hopefully they unleash
and
Shakir a little
then,
bit more because he's better than what he
and
showed
then the backup
last
role
year.
just becomes even more of a mess for the Buffalo Bills, as with those Seattle Seahawks, they trade a 7th-round pick for Tavares Jackson, and then they release Vince Young. So the Bills have made a total
Vince
mess
Young, you guys
of
remember
their
him? We
backup role in
winded
the
up picking
offseason
up Vince Young.
in 2012.
I forget
you really
when,
can
but
say
we
that,
did.
you know,
We did pick up
it's
Vince
great to
Young at
pick
one,
and choose where,
and I think we
you know,
wound
where
up
the Bills
cutting
could
him.
have
Right?
done
He didn't
things.
even.
But
He
they
didn't
did
even
it
make
to
the
themselves
team.
and making the conversation about Russell Wilson.
Bro, and Vince Young in college was unbelievable.
The problem for the Seahawks. That they
Even
had
his
too many
first
guys,
year,
by the way, maybe
or
Wilson's
first
that
couple
guy.
years weren't
They go and
terrible.
fix that problem.
With Tennessee,
You shouldn't
but
be on this side of the
he
problem.
he fell off quickly.
It was really upsetting all around. That's what I'm saying.
Week 1 of the 2012 season.
Oh, here we go.
The Bills travel to the Meadowlands to take on the New York Jets. Thad, you were there.
Got
As
our
the Jets
asses whooped.
Put up 48 on the new and improved Bills defense.
48
This game
points.
was a
What
game
the
that I saw the
flying
Jets
fuck?
win from like the moment it came out on the schedule. Because
I mean, how are you letting the Jets put 48 on you with Mario Williams?
This
Good
was the year where they were
Lord.
in playoff contention at the end of the year, and they're playing the Dolphins, and then there's a fight literally in the huddle. Santonio Holmes is an issue with players. It looks like the team is totally dysfunctional. And coming off 2 AFC championships, the Jets, from the moment that happened, are looked at as one of the joke franchises of the NFL following the end of that huddle fight game. But they still have AFC championship level talent for the most part on it. You take that team, you beat them down for a whole offseason, and then you let them open up at home against a team like Buffalo, which scares nobody.
And has all this talk about how they're new and improved.
Exactly.
Yeah, Crazy Climber. I believe we did.
On Buffalo. So,
But man,
I told
crazy,
everyone
right?
else
How
that
his
the Bills
career
would lose
wound
that
up,
game, they'd be 0-1.
being.
I even thought it was going to be the only thing that prevented me from coming out and saying it was going to be a 3-touchdown blowout is because the Jets offense did not score a single touchdown in the entire preseason. So they show up for that.
Wow,
game
imagine
with
that.
no
The
touchdowns,
Jets did
and then
nothing
bang,
in
first two drives
preseason,
was
which is
14-0.
whatever. But
yeah,
and they
I
put
saw
up
that-
48 on us.
The only thing I regret
Good
about that
Lord.
game is not being more obvious about how I had that one completely read from the moment the schedule came out.
We made too many mistakes to win a game like that. You can't make
Oh,
mistakes
fumble.
and win
Good
games
Lord.
like that. And then
Good
I told
pass,
them to not
too.
feel sorry for themselves and not to mope around. I was not going to tolerate that, and I wasn't going to allow that. We're going to be where we need to be.
Tell him, Chan.
I can't.
Chan's not going to let you mope around.
And
Oh, terrible pass there by
by
Fitz.
And that's what happened today.
Come on, Fitz.
You know, it's unacceptable. It's embarrassing. and,
3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
you know,
Good Lord.
unfortunately, it happened in the first game.
That's
Whenever
about
you
right.
reach
That's
down
what he
21-0
does.
Or give up 21 points at the flip of a switch. We got to make
Mario,
turnovers to get back
bad
because,
day
you
for
can't
you.
bounce
One
back. I
tackle.
don't care who you are.
That's a
and what's going on.
bad
The whole
day.
game plan changes.
I'm gonna keep it in my head. I mean, for 24 hours and learn from it, and try to go to work next week. But we got a lot to work on.
I believe you
As long
play
as
for
we take one day at a
Texas
time,
if
we'll
you're
be
talking
good.
about.
The Jets led in this game 41-7.
If you're talking about
in the
what's his
third
name?
quarter.
48-28 is cosmetic. It was a
what's his name? God, I
And
just threw,
so, I mean, to me, I just remember thinking like,
what's his name again?
No, maybe things really haven't changed.
Young.
And you
If
know
you're
what,
talking
the
about
other part
Young,
about that too is I told
I
everyone,
believe
said,
you play for
the Jets are
Texas.
going to win that game. It's not a reflection of them being better than the Bills. They may end up having a worse record, but they are going to win that. They would have beaten, I think, the Patriots that day just because of what they had taken that entire offseason.
Week 2, the Bills have their home opener in the sunshine. This is the first game.
Was
I've
it Texas
ever
or
covered as a member
Tennessee
of the News 8
that
Sports
Vince Young
Department.
played
I
for?
did it.
Why am I
I
thinking
did it.
Texas? I
And
think
the
it was
Bills went out
Tennessee,
there.
right?
kicked
Let
the
me know,
stuffing out of
guys.
the Kansas City Chiefs.
I think
win
Tennessee. Now that I'm
35-17,
thinking
CJ
about it,
Spiller,
Vince Young played
123
Tennessee,
yards
right?
rushing. Has 47 receiving yards as well. Very dynamic.
Hey,
player. Stevie
somebody
Johnson
said they went to this
49-yard
game.
Touchdown.
In the chat. I don't know where you're if you're still here,
about
but
5 years later. Otis McKelvin has an 88
we get a win here, buddy.
Touchdown. Bills win 35-17 to go 1-1. The following week, there in
Was it
Cleveland,
Texas? Okay.
CJ Spiller has
it
a
was. So I was
32-yard
initially
touchdown
right, and then I
reception, but
changed my
injures
mind to
his shoulder
Tennessee.
in this game. And this was kind of the first we saw. In
I don't remember crazy. I think it was the
he didn't really have much of an
following
impact at
year.
all.
I don't think he did it year
Considering he was a
one.
top
I
10
could be
pick,
wrong,
that
but
didn't look good at the time.
I think he did it like
now
year
we're seeing
two.
the injury bug show up with CJ Spiller.
The injury bug's
I kind
happening.
of remember, but with that, I mean, you have more of the context.
And I do remember Spiller just
the thoughts of CJ Spiller.
he did
at
get
the
a lot of
start this
injuries.
2012 season, who clearly has the capacity for explosive plays, but there's this inconsistency there, whether it's hitting the hole hard or in this case injuries.
It was even that game. I mean, that 32-yard catch, if I remember correctly, was a screen pass that he pretty much
That was
did
the
all
year
work on
before.
himself. So he had made an
That's when he got in trouble with Chan Gailey.
and then gets hurt immediately. after.
So
There
he
was a
did
whole
it
lot of hope.
his
not just
breakout
hope, like,
year.
Oh, we wish he's good.
And then he did it.
this
He
guy
did
to
like
be
a
good from a Bills
celebration
point
his
of view.
next year
And
that
we
got
needed
him in
to
trouble.
be healthy too, and he just could not.
It
do
might have been the same
I think
year,
This
I
was
forget.
the first major appearance of, wow, this injury thing is going to be a problem.
But it wasn't this year. I think it was last year.
Even though they had gotten beaten down by the Jets, 2-1, they had won their next two games impressively. There was a thought maybe they can get the offense going again, and if Mario's good, if the defense figures it out, the Bills might have something. But when CJ goes down, that was a huge negative for them.
The defense certainly made big plays.
I mean,
when
we
it
still
had
got
to.
Fred Jackson.
Brian
I mean, it is a big loss, but
pressure on. And the
Fred
end
Jackson was a hell of
result
a player,
the
right?
Bills' first
So
road victory in a full season.
It was like, okay, this is tough, having CJ go down
Stevie.
right now. But now it leads it on to Shard Choice and Johnny White. So I know we got
Johnny
guys
White.
that can
I remember him.
fill a void of CJ.
It was nice for our defense to play the way they did, to be able to
look at Fitz, a
continue
much
to make
better
some stops
day.
there, and for us to get that ball
3
back
touchdowns,
and,
no
make that
interception. There we
long
go,
drive and get in
Fitz.
the end zone on Stevie's
Now we're
catch.
talking.
That was a big part of the game right there.
We got some sacks and we stopped the run and we played
Chan's
great third
happy.
down defense. And if you can do that, you're gonna play
Yeah,
some
Jackson
good
was the
defense in
man.
this league.
You got to be able to come back.
I actually got a
from
Fred
rushing downs.
Fred Jackson
Regardless
jersey.
of what's happening on the field, it's this play. Right now, this is what we have in front of us. So, for us to go out and play ball.
I'll be right back, guys. Let me.
Striking, whether it's injuries.
I'll be
or,
right
like
back.
you said, moving the ball, them scoring. You gotta still be able to put your foot down, especially when it really counts. And I feel like that's what we did at the very end of this game.
He was a very frustrating player to watch play because he had these dynamic moments that really went, wow, he's the only guy in the field who can do that. And then you expect him to do it again. And the problem is that you have Spiller and then you have Jackson on the team, and like only one of them can really be out there on the field at the same time. And you always are wondering, well, is he the right guy right now? Like, could CJ have hit that hole that time and made things happen? And then he gets hurt, and so then you don't have an option, and so then it's just Fred Jackson.
And you got to a point too later in the season where Chan Gailey gets questioned about which running back is out there. Why are we using this guy and then putting this other guy in? They had the forced rotation, so yeah, it became more of a headache than it was worth.
Bills win 24-14. Mario Williams has his first sack as a member of the Buffalo Bills. 2 days later, September 25th, the Bills release Brian Moorman, punter extraordinaire. Fred Jackson tweets, WTF, released Moorman for what? Moorman was 30th in net punting average that season, but had been with the team for 12 years. And, we've spoken in the past about how there were Bills teams that might have had Brian Moorman as their best player.
All right, I'm back.
For me, I don't have really much of a history with Moorman. So just final thoughts on a guy that was here for a very long time. That was an all-pro punter at his peak.
Most of my jerseys are like pretty much brand new.
Should be on the wall of fame.
Unfortunately, I got so fat.
He's a punter. You probably don't.
I can't fit in these jerseys anymore. So
Will never be appreciated.
They just sit in my closet.
Was a fan favorite.
But
great
this
guy
is
to
the
watch. Just a good dude.
the 50th anniversary.
A guy you'd want to hang out with.
One for the Bills.
For a long time.
And
when it first happened, why are they doing this?
Yeah,
you start looking at the numbers,
size 54. I can't even fit in the 56 anymore.
But
Yeah, clean, man.
but from a football point
I
of view,
love
the
these
game
jerseys,
is so
by the way.
business,
They're
it had to
so
be done.
nice.
Yeah, people had his
Hey,
jersey.
what up, Scott?
Yeah,
How you doing,
says
brother?
A lot. And also, it also says
He
a
was also
lot.
on the field quite a bit, though. So
Well, that's true. I mean, he got a lot of optics for sure, but it says a lot about this era of the Bills that the one guy that really stands out, other than Eric Moulds, who should absolutely
All
be
right.
on the wall. It's insane.
Just wanted to show you one of my jerseys there.
That you're talking about. It's saying like, well, the punter should probably be up there. Like that says a lot about this Bills team. That if you want
I
to
remember laughing at the
yes, he was a great
cars missing the.
and obviously he was a great player.
Yeah,
He
it should be at the
led
end of the
league
game. We
in
won in
two-
overtime.
2 years where he had the longest punt in the league.
The Reebok jerseys were better. Oh, dude, they're absolutely better. I tell people that all the time. Bro, the
punting was a problem.
Let me
Second
pause this.
last in the league. This touchdown return.
The fucking Jets returning a punt on us. The Reebok jerseys, bro. First of all, the stitching was way better than the Nike jerseys, and they're heavier. Like they feel like they're just better made. Like you know what I mean? Better material. The Nike jerseys just seem they're thin, they're light. They just don't. I don't know, man. They just feel cheap. And they're not. They're fucking expensive unless you buy, a fake jersey, which, by the way, all my current jerseys are all from China, all after, like, fake. Because I can't afford a $300, what was it, $250, $300 for an authentic jersey. It's just ridiculous. So the majority of my jerseys that I have in my closet, are Reebok and by the way, on field, so they're like legit on field jerseys. And I was buying them years ago before like they got super expensive. And now everybody wants to buy retro jerseys, right? Like that's like, trust me, go on eBay. Like they're not cheap anymore. When I was buying them, dude, I was buying them when nobody kind of wanted them. And I got 2 Eric Moulds jerseys, Reebok on field. Thank God one of them still fits. It's like a 56, but because I've been wearing it so long, I stretched it out, I guess, and it still fits me. I think I'm more like a 58, which is basically a 4XL. I am a 3XL, guys, but for some reason, some 3XLs don't fit me. And anyways, that 3XL fits me. But I got those jerseys, and the majority of my Reebok jerseys, they came with tags, like brand new. I had 2 Moulds jerseys. I got the home and away one, and the away one don't fit me, but it brand new, crispy, sits in my closet. I got a JP Lossman. I know you guys hate him, but brand new jersey. That Fred Jackson jersey was barely ever used. It's like crisp, clean, no spots on it. I got a Stevie Johnson jersey, Peerless Price. What else do I got? Marshawn Lynch, and all these jerseys have they're flawless, pretty much flawless. And if you go now and look, man, they're not cheap, and they're tough to find in your size. So there may be one on there that you like, but finding it in your size is a whole other story, and I'm still looking today for jerseys, those Reebok jerseys in size 58 now. And it's just tough to come by. There's just not a lot floating around there. So, and then forget about it. The Nike jerseys, the ones in China they run small. So I could get a 4XL. It's going to fit like a 3 and it may not fit me. So I can't even take chances on buying jerseys overseas now because I just don't know what I'm going to get. And then if it doesn't fit you, you're fucked. They're not going to take a return. So, yeah. I've been looking for Jerry's Burr very hard. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. Guys, if you saw my collection, I have more than that than I'm thinking about. I know I do. I'm just trying to think of the other jerseys I got in my closet that are Reeboks. But I'll tell you the ones I want, the ones I've been looking for. It's just so tough to find because Reebok did a few different jerseys. They did one that was the stitching on field. Those are the ones that are the most expensive ones. They did the stitching, but they weren't on field. And then they did one that was just no stitching, but it was just like pressed on the jersey. That's the cheapest one. For me, I want the on field, and they're just not easy to find in your size. But the jerseys that I want, the ones that I would love to have, is a Tikio Spikes, a God, what's his name? A Terrence McGee. Absolutely would love a Terrence McGee. A Travis Henry jersey. Would love a Travis Henry jersey. So those are the three that like I would love to get. And I wouldn't hate like a Lee Evans one. And there's some like George Wilson because I met him. So there's a little story there that, that we have. But yeah, I mean, there's some, like I said, there's a few that I would love to have. But the Takeo Spikes one and the McGee are tops on my list. If I ever find those and a size 58, dude, I'm gonna buy it. I don't care the price. I'll just buy it. But it's tough. It's tough to find, man. Thank you. The only one I had was Evans and Lossman. I have Lossman's in the closet right there. I bought it pretty much brand new. I think I had tags on it too. Authentic and replica. Yeah. Recently I have Diggs. I have Diggs too, but like I said, any current jersey I have now, it doesn't fit me. So it sucks. I do have a Josh Allen one, white. Man, it's nice, bro. It's a fake one, but it looks legit, but it doesn't fit me. I'm eventually going to have to give these jerseys away, at least not the Reebok ones, but the Nike ones, the fake ones, because they just don't fit me. And I feel like I'm just, they used to fit me, but now they're just collecting dust in my closet. When the NFL's transition to the Nike jerseys, East Bay had like 90% clearance of the. Oh, dude, I wish I was buying them at that time. I burned my Diggs jersey. Did you really? I bet people are going to try and get Leonard's jersey. Yeah, you're right. You know what? I didn't even think about that. Because he played for us for a few years. You're right. I still have a tray. I have a tray too. I have a tray as well. So I don't know. What do you guys think I should do with my Nike jersey? Because they're never going to fit me. I feel bad. They're just sitting there. Maybe just Goodwill, I guess. Just, the thing is, I live in Michigan. I don't know how many people are going to want Buffalo Bills jerseys. I'm sure somebody would take them, but I don't know. I kind of feel bad. They're just sitting in my closet collecting dust. So, I got to do something with them. Plus, I got to move soon, man. My landlord sold the house, so I don't know what the hell I'm going to do in September because I got to be out of my house in September. So, wish me luck because rent's so expensive even here in Michigan. So, guys have any ideas? Let me know about what's the rent. You should do giveaways. I know, but the thing is, they're not authentic jerseys, and I don't want to last thing I need, I do a giveaway, send some jersey, and someone's gonna be like, "Oh, fucking guy sends me a fake Nike jersey." You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just because they're fake. You know what I mean, Scott? So like, it's not even about the money. You know what I mean? I think I paid like $30 for each jersey. You know what I mean? I think the Allen jersey was like a little more because I think I got that one from eBay, but I know it's fake. Let me show you the Allen jersey real quick. Hold on, guys. It was like, I think I paid like $75 for the Allen jersey. It's the Allen jersey. You guys can see that. I mean, has the gold, captain logo. I mean, it looks legit. The stitching is fine on it, but like the Nike symbol is good. Like a lot of the times the Nike symbol is like all fucked up. Like you could tell, but this one's is pretty good. But it don't fit me. It don't fit me. It says triple XL. There's no way. It's like it fits more like in between a 2X and a 3X, and I think now I'm in between a 3X and a 4X. So, but it's a nice jersey. I can't fit in it. I know. I mean, maybe this one I'll do like a giveaway because this one is it's pretty clean, man. Maybe this one I'll do something this year with you guys where you know, do some kind of giveaway or something like that. Let me put it in my closet. Give me a minute. But yeah, maybe I'll do something like that, give away on that, and then maybe the rest I'll give to Goodwill or something like that. Tommy, why not keep them? If not, I agree with the above. Yeah, I think the Allen one, because it's probably the closest to being authentic. But, you know, the rest is like a Stephon Diggs jersey. I got a Zach Moss jersey. I don't know why I even got that one. I got a Tyrod Taylor jersey, you know. I got a Shady McCoy jersey. And I think the Shady one's actually legit. I don't think that's a... I believe that was... I bought it used, but it was new looking and it was authentic. But I don't know. We'll find out. Anyways. Yeah, maybe I'll do that this year. Maybe I'll do something with that Allen jersey.
By the Jets week 1 didn't help. It was also reported that Mormon's struggles with directional punting were ultimately...
Damn, so Brian Mormon got cut, huh?
Specific about the move today.
It goes back to trying to upgrade at the position and looking at...
Yeah, Cole Bishop jersey would be dope.
And that's basically it. I wouldn't get into specifics, but with us, you know, again, we evaluate everything every day, and especially every week after a game. We do that, and then we look at things and say, well, we can get better here, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah, I hear you, Scott.
New England Patriots come to town.
Maybe I'll look at the better ones
and
and do something like that.
2011 game against the Patriots, it disappears.
Well, yes and no. I mean,
the Bills led in this game.
No, I know. Like, I remember being on the
Or
field,
I could just lose weight and fit in these jerseys, right?
Donald Jones. Donald Jones goes.
There's always that, right, guys?
Jones says later, this is the highlight of his career. And
I mean, you know.
And there are palpable feelings of.
There's always that option, Tommy.
Again and be, you know, win
You
a
know,
third game.
it's always good to shed about
finish a 3-game
75 pounds off
with a legit win over the Patriots. And if they had won that game, it would have been the same as the year before, where they were 3-0 and Fitzpatrick, everybody thought the Bills were going to make the playoffs. But it would have been really good, you know, and it would have given people a lot of reason to be optimistic.
No,
so for a little
I got to
while,
cut back on my strawberry slushies, Bob.
There were senses on the sideline.
I don't know if I'm willing to do that, Bob.
The Bills are going to do it again.
They're really good.
What happened?
The next 6
You're saying I got to cut back on Taco Bell as well? I don't know, Bob. That's a tough one.
Angry, and Tom Brady took it out.
It's like these games are why fans are so negative about the team in general. Like you can go through the course of a game, the Bills can have a lead, and there's always somebody that says like, well, it won't last. Like, no, I mean, come on, they look pretty good. Like, it's going to be fine. Like, well, why are you being so negative? Like, these games are why. Because that game everything was fine. It was the boat's moving along. We're just going through the locks here. It's going to be okay. And then everything's on fire. And you don't. What happens?
Yes.
What?
Are they talking about the Patriots game right now? I believe they are, right?
On, but like,
we got fucking whooped.
Turn a good-looking game into a nuclear implosion.
Yeah.
Like that is
52-28.
You talk about, oh, well, that was
fucking embarrassing.
They just did it this last year against Oakland. It was the same game, even on a larger scale, because the Patriots scored a few more touchdowns. But it was the same thing.
Yeah.
They're cruising right along, and then it just combusts.
Yeah, and then when, and you and I, we've both been on the sideline for these types of games. You're just standing there like wanting to scream, like, just get one first down. Stop this. Just get 10 yards and just like take a moment to breathe, and we will ride out this storm. But like, nope, 3 and out, and then just touchdowns. Just like
I just looked it up. I think the Patriots had 5 touchdowns in a row, and in between the Bills,
5 touchdowns in a row. Yikes!
It's so amazing that the coaches change and the players are different, but the way that they lose these games is exactly the same. They can't do anything on offense. They're frustrated at every turn. When they get little glimmers of hope, I mean, they
first
the
down
game really well. Sometimes they do that against the Patriots, and then it just goes away so quickly. And you can feel the doldrums set in on the offensive side, and then the Patriots just start going. And there's so many games like this. I can't even. I don't remember this game at all because they're all one.
Dude, pretty much, right?
It's just
I think there was 2 games where he played bad against us. Outside of that, he shredded us. He shredded us, man.
They're all of them.
Yeah.
Look at the Bills Mafia, not happy.
I think about these 17 years.
Oh, man.
At the beginning, even when Brady was there with the Patriots, the Bills played them close in a lot of these games. They're not 52-28s.
A lot of them.
And that comes toward the end when, And so I think about like how, at the beginning of the drought, the rivalry for the Bills is not with the Patriots, it's with the Dolphins. And like, at what point does that switch? Obviously the Dolphins take a turn and the Patriots become world beaters. And so like, just to see that rivalry at the beginning is like, oh, the Bills, like they win a game at, at Schaefer Stadium or whatever it was called then. And then like, oh, like whatever. It's so uneventful. The early games against the Patriots.
Schaefer Stadium.
And now, like,
geez.
Patriots week. That's the one you said.
I don't even know. I didn't even know that.
You literally just get the stuffing knocked out of you for, in this case, only a half. But the final score is 52-28.
It's almost like they talk themselves. Like you can talk yourself into that loss right away. They lose it as soon as the schedule comes out, and you look at it and you go, oh well. They play on Thursday night, so they have 2 more days to prepare for the Bills. They're going to definitely get crushed in that one. And like, how many times you look at the schedule and like, oh, the Patriots are going to play the Bills off the bye, and the Bills will be on short rest. Great. They're also flying back from
right.
Why are they flying back from Sweden? I don't understand what's going on.
It just seems that way. I know.
And so Fitz 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Patriots win 52-20.
That is
the following week.
That is
October
a Fitz
7th,
game. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
Buffalo Bills. And, as a
such
kid,
a Fitz magic.
Growing up in Albany, New York,
Fitzpatrick type of game.
Though
right.
Albany is a giant city.
Going against 49ers.
Post Bill Parcells. The Jets were really bad. They were with Rich Kotite. So it was, okay, what teams are on?
Oh, my God.
TV
we got destroyed.
49ers are. And
God.
So, but
got fucking destroyed.
Young and Jerry Rice, even Garrison Hurst down the road. And I loved Terrell Owens when he was with the 49ers. So, as the low man on the totem pole, you
45-3.
1 or 2 road games that you really want to go to.
Good Lord.
I wanted to go to Candlestick Park, and oh man, did I not anticipate what was in store for me.
3
the
points.
49ers accomplished league history, becoming the first team.
Yeah, his first. I mean, he's still at 10.5 sacks, but
rushing yards and 300.
Yeah, it seemed like some games he did not show up. Right.
The 49ers win 45-3. It was windy as hell, but it only seemed.
Oh, you're right. They played.
I've never seen
the Chargers,
like
right? Was it the Chargers game?
Back-to-back losses.
Or am I wrong there? Was it 49ers Chargers?
Yards given up last weekend.
They played in Miami, right?
And afterward,
I believe so because I went to that game. I could be wrong.
Not doing correctly with this football team in the second half because
Ravens. Okay, why am I thinking Chargers? That was way earlier. That was in the late 90s, right?
Poorly, and
I went to that. I didn't go inside the Super Bowl, but outside.
2 weeks in a row.
You can't let these losses linger. And
Ravens,
I don't know that,
you're right.
I didn't feel that we. Came
that's when they had.
Still with some moves.
I'm gonna rewind this, but that's when they had. You're right, bro. That's when they had Colin. God, can't remember his name. What the hell's his name? Kaepernick. That's when they had Kaepernick, right? Man, I should have remembered that. You're right. You are right. They had Kaepernick. It was the 2 brothers, the Harbaugh brothers, going at it, and the Ravens won that game. That was the Super Bowl they won with what's his name, quarterback for the Ravens there. But yeah, you are right on that one. I totally forgot about that. But 3 points though. My God, we could have done better than 3 points. Joe Flacco was the quarterback, correct? All right, let's hear these player interviews here.
2 road games that you really want to go to, and for me, I wanted to go to Candlestick
But their
Park,
defense was
and,
legit.
Oh man, did I not
on that team, bro? Legit.
As the 49ers accomplished league history, becoming the first team in the history of the NFL with 300 rushing yards and 300 passing yards in the same game.
Wow.
The 49ers win 45-3.
First time, of course, it's against Buffalo.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Of course it is.
I've never seen a spanking like that in person before.
You're right. Thank you, Crazy Climber. I don't know why. It was like, but I do remember that. You're right. It was in 94.
Given up last weekend, over 600 yards today, and afterward, plenty of blame to go around.
Obviously, something I'm not doing correctly.
Chargers got their ass kicked
with this
in that
football team in the second half.
Oh, look at Chan.
We've been in 2 games in a row at halftime and have played extremely poorly, and that's as nice as you can put it in the second half.
So much for the play action.
2 weeks in a row.
I can't let these losses linger, and I don't know that. I didn't feel that we came into this game still with some wounds from New England. I felt like we came into this game with a fresh mindset, and beat bad by a better team today.
I mean, it's disappointing. Like I said, we put in work. We have plays. It's just unfortunate situations that's going on throughout the game.
I'm sure Mario Williams at this point is going, man, what was I thinking?
We'll get family. We'll stick together. We'll let everybody
Maybe signing with Buffalo wasn't the greatest idea. He's hating it, right?
This
Oh,
kind of
man.
sets you up for what would be a pretty lackluster Bills season.
Yep.
There was going to be no.
I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree with you on that one.
Another season where looking at the draft,
But our defense this year has given up way too many points.
The last 6 quarters
Not a good effort here by our defense either. Our offense isn't much better. Don't get me wrong, but
granted, against the
we are
Patriots
just
and
getting
49ers,
whooped.
2 of the league's best. But if the Bills want to be a playoff team, they need to learn to stop the upper
Like
level
you
teams
should
in
do
the
better
NFL.
than that when you got guys like Mario Williams, Darius, Stephon Gilmore.
The fans doesn't
Like you have some good players there on the defense side of the ball, and giving up that many points
tough right now.
is
It's
wild.
tough on the team. It's tough on the fans. Man, it's just
Like I'll give you an example. Like imagine if our team now had a player like a Mario Williams, which would be like who, like in today's NFL. Like obviously he's not up there with with Garrett, but what would Mario Williams be today? Like what player best describes, is like his play style or whatever, gives, stats wise. I would say, golly, maybe Trey Hendrickson. Let's go Hendrickson. I would say. But imagine having a Mario Williams on our team now, a Stephon Gilmore, right? A Marcellus Darius, right? And giving up the amount of points that this team here is giving up. Like we would be outraged because those are some all Pro Bowl type players that us as fans wish we had a Mario Williams right now. But this defense that we have, even under Sean McDermott, didn't look that shitty. That's bad. That is bad. I mean, that's crazy bad, guys.
Question, some people don't want to answer, but it's life right now.
All right, who's this?
Get better at it.
Let's see this guy's interview.
Atrocious. They've been outscored.
Oh, that was Marcel, right? I think it was
90-17.
Darius.
Granted, against the Patriots and 49ers,
I think it was Marcel.
But if the Bills want to be a playoff team, they need to learn to stop the upper level teams in the NFL.
It's just a game. Next.
Yeah, it's Darius. That's what I thought.
The fans doesn't think it's just a game, but of course they think it's just a game. But
bro.
It's just tough right now. It's just tough on the team. It's tough on the fans.
So, no, bro. Let me tell you, I don't think you were here to start when we first started talking about Mario Williams. So he actually was better than I remember. Like I remember him being good here, but when I pulled up his stats and what he did here, Mario Williams lived up to his contract. So, and I'll tell you why. And Marcellus Darius, bro, he was really good. Like I can't hate on what he did here as well. But Mario Williams in Buffalo, bro, his stats, like what he did, like sack wise, which everyone loves, to talk about sacks. Let's see here. Okay, so sacks. Okay, so. And you're talking about consistent, right? So in Houston, his first year, not a great start, 4.5, but then he had 14 in 07, 12 in 08, 9 in 09, 8.5 in 2010, and then he got hurt in 2011, and then he signed with Buffalo. So his first year in Buffalo, 10.5 sacks, which is the year we're talking about now, 2012. Then in 2013, he had 13. And then in 2014, he had 14.5. The only down year he had in Buffalo was his last year in 2015. And I believe, I could be wrong on this, but I believe this is when we got Rex Ryan and he switched the defense up. And it just didn't really tailor to what Mario Williams' play style was. So it kind of affected, Mario Williams a little bit. Plus, Mario Williams at that point had already been in the league a while. You know what I mean? How many seasons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That was his 10th season. So by then he was starting to age a little bit as well. You know what I mean? But if you look at his overall stats, I thought Mario Williams lived up to his contract. I don't think he was under. I don't think he was overrated at all. I think Mario Williams was a really good player for a long time. Like his stats, they don't lie. And Marcel Darius for a time in Buffalo was legit. He was good. I have no problem with that draft pick. I have no problem with Marcel Darius. I thought Marcel Darius was a good player here. Like I don't think he was overrated at all. So I disagree with that. But once again, you can have your opinion. Everybody sees things differently, but I disagree with your take on both those players, especially Mario Williams. I mean, but like once again, everybody will see things differently, man. Everybody sees sees the game differently. But I'll be honest with you, I didn't even think his numbers when I remember. I don't remember him being that good as far as sacks goes. And think about it, right? We would love a player like that right now. If we could get a defensive player, and maybe we will. Maybe under Leonard's scheme, there'll be a player that could be consistently good in 3 to 4 seasons like Mario Williams was. Can you imagine? I'm just throwing this out there. If we had a guy, and we haven't had a guy to get 10 sacks since Leonard Floyd, and he only did it 1 year because he was only here 1 year. But are you telling me that, let's say hypothetically, Bradley Chubb, who's here on a 3-year deal, gets the same amount of sacks or close to it that Mario Williams did while he was here? 10.5, 13, and 14.5. There's no way that you would say, oh, man, that was a bad signing. You know what I mean? You would go, damn, that dude did exactly what we needed, which was get to the quarterback. So that's my way of thinking of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that was a bad signing at all. So I would absolutely love a player that could do that now for the Buffalo Bills. We've been waiting for that for a long time. I really enjoyed Manuel Lawson. Manuel Lawson was pretty good on the Bills. Was a hybrid linebacker. Yeah, I like Manuel Lawson. Absolutely. I'm not saying they weren't like good players. Both players didn't come close to living up to the draft position and contract. See, I disagree. I got to disagree, man. I think Mario Williams lived up to his contract, bro. I mean, what more do you want there? Those are good stats. Unless you were thinking 15 each year, that's I mean, obviously you would love that, but 10.5, 13, and 14.5 is, I wouldn't say that's like, he underperformed his contract. I wouldn't want either. They were lazy and not game breakers. You're getting caught up. No, I'm not getting caught up in nostalgia and name under it. Not at all, dude. Like, do you know? You should know me by now, bro. I'm 100% not getting caught up in nostalgia and names on jerseys. I could care less about that. What I care about is you producing, right? And showing up and getting those numbers that and getting to the quarterback on the defensive side of the ball. If we're talking about offense, I don't give a shit about names on the back. You come here, put it this way. If you're a guy with that I don't even recognize, right? And I'll give you a good example, Stevie Johnson, right? No, come on, 7th round draft pick. Nobody fucking knew about him, right? But he wound up being a good player for the Buffalo Bills. And nothing to do with the name on a jersey. You know what I mean? You're gonna. It's about production, and that's how fans start to appreciate you and like you. For me, at least how I look at it. I get what you're saying, and some fans do get caught up in the names on the back of the jersey and all the hype. I'm with you, but I'll give you another example. Sean Merriman came here and did absolutely nothing. Now, if you were telling me Sean Merriman, then I 100% agree. You know what I mean? Because I was one of those guys. I was hyped up. Of course, why not? He was great in San Diego, and then he came here and did nothing. So if I'm over here hyping up Sean Merriman, I understand your point, but I'm not. Like, these guys produce. Like, if you produce, at least how I saw it, then I'm good with you. It has nothing to do with the name on the back of the jersey. I could care less. You know what I mean? I want guys that could produce. Those guys produce. If you don't see it that way, that's fine. I can't. It is what it is. Clearly, you watched that era, so I don't feel the same. I don't feel that way. Darius had serious problems here, man. Like I said, Marcel Darius. Look, and that's why I'm trying to tell you. I think Mario Williams for me is I think you're I just don't agree with you on the Mario take. I don't agree really on Darius either, but I understand what you're trying to say. Marcel Darius had some moments here in Buffalo where there was some I get that. I'm with you on that one, but I wouldn't say he was a bad draft pick or a bad player. Like I don't think he was a guy that just did nothing while he was here in Buffalo. I just can't get behind that because I watched the guy play. I watched this team play just like you did. And like I said, once again, everybody sees the game differently. So, but yeah, you're right. He had some issues here, but I don't think he was a bad player while he was here. And I don't think he would be considered like any kind of bust or anything like that for, where we selected him. But that's how I see it.
Man, just like that's a tough question,
But definitely not with Mario Williams, bro. Mario Williams, he produced, bro, and that's all I want.
Last week,
I want production.
Whatever that this team would have came out and played a lot better than we played today. Now going on 2 weeks and giving up that many run yards and giving up, the plays that we gave up, it's just disappointing.
All right, what are you saying here? Let me see here. I'll put it this way. What was Mario better than Merriman with the Chargers? Because Merriman with the Chargers was truly great play. Yeah, but that's my point. Like that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. So Mario Williams for the Texans was a good player. It wasn't like Mario Williams was trash. I just read you his stats. His stats were pretty much consistent here in Buffalo, right? A 10+ sack guy, except for his rookie year in Houston. So, no, like for as good as Merriman was in San Diego, Mario Williams was just as good in Houston. The problem is when Sean Merriman came to Buffalo, Sean Merriman was a shell of himself. Also, if you really go back in time, Sean Merriman got busted for steroids while in San Diego. When he got off steroids is when I believe they released him and he started getting hurt. And then he came to Buffalo and he was nothing like the Sean Merriman. What do they call him? TKO, lights out Sean Merriman. Nothing like the Sean Merriman that was in San Diego. You can't say the same thing with Mario Williams. Mario Williams' stats were the same pretty much as they were in Houston and in Buffalo. And I just read them to you. Like I'm not like just saying it to say it. I'll pull them up again. So Mario Williams. And as a matter of fact, I'll pull up Merriman's too. So Mario Williams' career in Houston, 4.5 his rookie year. We're going to give that a pass. But moving forward, 2007, 14. Matter of fact, he does better in Buffalo. 14 sacks in 2007, 12 sacks in 2008, 9 in 2009 with Houston, 8.5 in 2010. He gets hurt in 2011. He still has 5 sacks. He only played 5 games, 5 sacks, 5 games. Then when he comes to Buffalo, he has 10.5, 13, 14.5. So he actually had better seasons in Buffalo than he did in Houston, but they still were pretty consistent. If you want to go Sean Merriman, I'll pop him up. If you go through Sean Merriman's career, with San Diego, he had 10 rookie year, great. 17, awesome. 12.5 in 2007, great. So 3 years, really good. But here we go. 2008, he missed the season. I don't know if this was due to the suspension or not. I don't remember, or injury, but he had 0, no sacks. He only played 1 game. I'll give it a pass. I have no idea what happened there. And then in 2009, he had 4 sacks. Only 4. He played 14 games. Pretty much the whole season, 4 sacks. That's not good. And then in 2010, he either got suspended or hurt again. He had 0 sacks. He only played 1 game. Then he comes to Buffalo. He plays 5 games because I think he got hurt again. He had 1 sack. And then in 2012, he played 1 game. He had 1 sack. And by the way, he never played football again. So you can't compare the two, bro. You can't. Yeah, Merriman may have had that 3-year stretch where he was slightly better. I mean, slightly better than Mario Williams. But Mario Williams' career is way better than Sean Merriman. It's not even close. Way more consistent than Sean Merriman. So yeah, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, if we had a Mario Williams on this team right now, you would absolutely change your opinion. You would bro, and I'm being for real. We would love we would love a Mario Williams on our team. If we could have a Mario Williams right now, give us 10.5, 13, 14.5 sacks in a 3-year period, ain't nobody in Buffalo poo-pooing those numbers. Nobody. Because we haven't had it. We haven't had it since Leonard Floyd. His 1 year here. That's our last 10-sack guy. Can you imagine that? Our last guy that went over 10 sacks. I believe he had 10.5. So I'm just being real with you, man. You know what I mean? And look, I'm not like this big Mario Williams fan. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you, if you're talking about production, overall production, what he gave for 3 straight years, I can't complain. I don't know many who can. Obviously, maybe you see it differently, but I'll take that all day, every day. Those numbers all day, every day. Mario was good, but he was not great. And he certainly wasn't close to Merriman and saying, I disagree. You're talking about 1 year, 17. Outside of that, what are we talking about? Like, once again, 10, 17, 12.5, right? 3-year run. That's it. He did nothing past that, right? And you're talking, so if you're talking about a 3-year run at 10, 17, 12.5, right? Hear me out now. And we're going to pull up Mario Williams back up because this is a good debate. And I'm glad that we're on this. So you're saying his 3-year stretch is better than his stretch, right? Mario Williams, 3-year stretch in Buffalo, right? 10.5, 13, and 14.5. I'll take that all day. And 10 and 17, what did I tell you? 10, 17, and 12.5 equals out the same as Mario Williams on the average sack, probably. I think Mario actually has the advantage. Then, if you go back to his time in Houston, he had a stretch where he had 14, 12, 9, and 8.5. I'm sorry, I can't. I don't think I don't think Merriman in a 3-year stretch was so lights out compared to Mario Williams. I mean, Mario Williams had, I believe, a good 4-year stretch in Houston with 14, 12, 9, and 8.5. And then he had an excellent stretch in 2012 to 14 with 10.5, 13, and 14.5. Yeah, I mean, he had 97.5 career sacks compared to Sean Merriman, 45.5. He almost doubled him. You know what I'm saying? That he doubled his numbers. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, right? If you're talking about solo tackles, Mario Williams had 317. Merriman had 196. I mean, like, Mario Williams was an overall better player than Sean Merriman. Yes, Sean Merriman had a nice little 3-year run there, but it wasn't like, way better than anything Mario Williams did. So I got to disagree with you on the Mario Williams take. You got to go back in time. I get what you're saying. The 17 sacks in the one season, awesome. But you can't discredit the consistency of what Mario Williams did throughout his career. You just can't. 7. My main point, spot on. Merriman was great prior. Mario was never close to that. I just disagree. You're talking about one season at 17, dude. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about one season at 17. So tell me, okay, outside of the 17, right, sacks that Merriman had, hear me out. And that 3-year run, he had 10 sacks and 12 and a half. Mario Williams had 14, 12, 14 and a half, 13. 9, 8 and a half. You get where I'm going? Like where was Sean Merriman outside of one season where he had his best compared to Merriman, compared to Williams' best, is you're talking about a 2.5 sack difference, 17 to 14 and a half. But if you look at the other years for Sean Merriman in that 3-year run, 10 and 12 and a half, and look at Mario Williams at 13 and 14 and a half, and 10 and a half, 14 and 12, you can't compare the two. You can't, man. Listen, Sean Merriman, I'll give you that. He had a 3-year run. It was a nice run. That 1 year, 17, cool. But no, Mario Williams was way more consistent. Way more consistent. But you know, it is what it is, man. Everyone sees the game different, man. I'm not trying to, put your opinion down or anything like that, dude. We're debating here on people's careers. And once again, it's not like I'm invested in Mario Williams, dude. Like I have no investment in Mario Williams. When I look at production, Mario Williams is way better as far as overall production on a consistent level compared to Sean Merriman's 3-year run. And one of those years really ultimately was the one great year at 17, but it wasn't that much more better than what Merriman did or what Mario Williams did twice in his career, which was the 14 and a half, 14. You know what I mean? Like you're talking a difference of 3 sacks. You know what I mean? 2.5 and 3 sacks is not, it's not that wildly off. So anyways, let's get back to the show. Mario Williams is more likely to be a Hall of Famer than Sean Merriman. Yeah, he won't make it. You know what I mean? Because it just, he didn't last too long in the league. I think he wound up being in the league. How many years was he? He was 11 years in the league. So he just wasn't, the problem with Mario at the end was he went to Miami. Miami was his last year he played, and he only played 5 games. He had 1.5 sacks. So at that, he retired right after that. So he played 11 years. He finished with 97.5 sacks. So through his career, which is really good, but it's not Hall of Fame worthy or good. If he continued like another 5 years at, let's say he averaged 10 sacks a season more, got that up to like 140, then we're talking. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to compare, like I said, him and Merriman, I just don't think it's close. I know he wasn't, not if Merriman would have stayed. Yeah, but he didn't, dude. You know what I mean? He didn't. Like, we could be talking about Todd Gurley as being, you're going to say Todd Gurley had a run too. You get where I'm saying with it? Like, if you talk about Todd Gurley, Todd Gurley had a stretch, but Todd Gurley didn't last long. You can't put Todd Gurley in the mix with the great running backs. He had such a small window. Merriman's window was super small, bro. 3 years. And once again, listen, it wasn't 3 years of, if you're telling me Sean Merriman did 17 sacks a year for 3 years, I'd be like, damn, dude, that's fucking really good. He was so great. He had 1 year, bro, with 17. One year, dude. You're talking about 1 year. The first year he had 10. Then he had 12 and a half, and then he did nothing. So 10, 17, 12 and a half. You're telling me that Mario Williams at 14, 12, 9, 8 and a half, 10 and a half, 13, 14 and a half. You're not telling me that that's not more impressive than 10, 17, and 12? Dude, I can't agree with you on this. I simply can't. And once again, I'm not shitting on Sean Merriman. When we signed Sean Merriman, I was like, damn, if he could stay healthy and he can do what he did his first 3 years in the NFL, then man, we may have a golden ticket here. But he didn't, right? He was bad, so bad that he didn't make it he got cut. He didn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, so I can't compare the two. I get what you're saying, and I'm not shitting on you or anything like that, dude. You know me. And I understand you're kind of where you're going with it, where he had that run, but you can't say Mario Williams didn't have a similar run, and he had it twice in his career. A 3-year run. Actually, he had a 4-year run with Houston and a 3-year run with us where there were 10-plus sacks every year. That's consistency, and that's exactly what I would want here. Because of injury, I'm talking about when he was healthy. I get that, but I'm not – listen, I understand what you're saying. I don't find it hard to understand. But you're comparing the numbers, right? This is what you're saying. You're saying with the first 3 years, right, and I understand the injury. I'm not knocking it, but that has to play a part of it. Of course it plays a part of it, right? What if Bo Jackson stays healthy? We don't know. It seemed like Bo Jackson was going to be one of the better running backs ever, but it's unfortunate, bro, right? And that's all I can go by with is what you've done. Like, I can't say Merriman would have, if that didn't happen, he would continue. I don't know if he would have continued that run, but even with that being said, though, bro, he's still outside of the 17 sacks. 1 year in 2006. In 2005, he only had 10. In 2007, he only had 12.5. If you look at Mario Williams, once again, 14, 12, 10.5, 13, 14.5. Those are way better than 10 and 12. That's it. You get what I'm saying? And they're not that the 14.5 and 14 are not far away from the 117 year that Merriman had. That's all I'm saying. I'm not shitting on Sean Merriman, dude. I watched Sean Merriman play. He was a hell of a player, right? And who knows? Like you said, who knows? Maybe if he doesn't get hurt, maybe things get better. But you got to remember, too, the dude was on steroids. And when the dude came back from not doing steroids, he was a shell of himself. Let's be honest. And I'm not saying that had to do something with it, but it may have. It may have. So that's all I'm saying, dude. I'm not shitting on you. I'm not telling you that you're wrong. I understand what you're talking about the injuries, and that played a part. And sure, it might have. Right? It actually did. But we don't know if his numbers would have been consistently at a high level because they weren't. If you look at the 10, 17, 12.5, you're telling the 10's not even close to 17. The 12.5 still not close to 17. So it wasn't like he was this 15, 17, 16 sack. Like he was 10, 17, 12.5. Right? Mario Williams, once again, 14, 12, 9, 8.5, 10.5, 13, 14.5. That's way more consistent of sacks per season than Sean Merriman. That's all I'm getting at. But I get your point about the injuries. I'm with you. I've had some restatement to some drought players that era was extremely frustrating. And let's be honest, lots of players quit. Part of it should have quarterback, but that era is Russ Brand. Oh, dude, I'm with you on that. 100%. And like I said earlier, these teams aren't going anywhere without a franchise quarterback. And if you look at today's NFL, where we're at sitting today, Miami Dolphins, the Jets, the Browns, right? All of these teams are still searching for their quarterback. Even the Giants. We don't know what the Jackson Dart's going to be like. He looked okay his first year, but we'll find out. Like, I'm not totally sold on Jackson Dart. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of teams in the NFL still trying to search for the quarterback. I mean, think about it. The Dolphins still searching since Dan Marino. That's craziness. So for me, one of the main reasons why this drought was occurring was because we didn't have a franchise quarterback. They could not find one. And if you can't find one, it's very tough to build around a team and make it a really good team without a franchise quarterback. It's very tough. Williams was a pure DE. Merriman was a linebacker. That is correct. Merriman was more of a linebacker. That is absolutely correct. I believe he was like a hybrid, which, yeah, you actually said that. It was a hybrid, yeah. So, and like I said, dude, Merriman, like I said, he had that stretch, that 3-year stretch. He was a good player. Lights out. He had that nickname and all that. But, dude, once he got hurt, once a steroid thing came out and he got suspended, I believe he got suspended for it, that was a wrap. Oh, McCarthy, he's not even start, bro. It's going to be they're handing that over to I would be shocked if he gets a starting role, but they're going to hand that over to Murray, bro. JJ McCarthy, I was never sold on. I never was sold on him. All right, let's get back to it, man. We're still not done.
We're giving up huge plays.
I told you, 3-hour podcast.
We got to be accountable across the
Somebody
board.
was on here earlier. I'm like, yeah, dude. You want a long podcast? Well, here you go.
We got to figure out when the world's going on. Because, I mean, we're giving up huge chunks of yardage at a given time, and we can't have that.
After this week's embarrassing defeat,
I mean, what do you got to do? It's a Sunday.
Buffalo. They're on a flight. to
Ain't no
Phoenix,
Bills
where
football
they'll
on
be
right now.
For next Sunday's game against the Arizona Cardinals. On the other side, the Cardinals.
And look, we had a friendly debate about Mario Williams, Sean Merriman. It's good stuff. I like it.
St. Louis Rams.
I appreciate that, though, by the way, brother. It's always good conversation.
You know, there was genuine excitement before the season because of Williams and because of they're addressing the defensive concerns, and then the way that they lost the games that they lost in this season, it's just completely wayward. Everything is gone. What is going on? Where are they going?
And Mario is quickly falling into kind of his Buffalo role as he may be the star, but he's not going to inspire anyone. This happened right from week one. They get manhandled.
It won't, guys. You have to have a quarterback.
Whose name I can't remember and whose name is not relevant at all. But when he was asked about it, he talked about I got held, I got refs and calling penalties. He pretty much whined like someone who was a loser, and he was a loser on the scoreboard and in his own head-to-head matchup. But the fact that this guy, this superstar the Bills paid all this money to, week one gets completely taken out of the game by Wayne Hunter. I don't know why I throw the name. Thank you. Wayne Hunter gets taken out of the game by him and then doesn't own up to it, doesn't put a happy face on it, just complains about the officiating. I mean, he was a Buffalo Bill from day one. And it really, except for that era when the Bills D-line as a group was very good, he as an individual, it never really got better for him.
Week 6, after that, shellacking by the 49ers.
See, I don't agree with that take either. You're going to have bad games here and there.
Arizona to take on the Cardinals.
It's about your total production for me.
It's ugly. I mean, the Bills win 19-16, but it has these weird moments in it. Jay Feely kicks a 61-yard field goal with 1:09 left to tie.
Oh, dude, I remember.
The Bills go 3.
I remember all this, brother.
Feely has a chance
fucking
at a game winner in regulation from 38 yards and is blocked.
Yeah.
And just
I don't know. That's a great question, Crazy Con. I know we wound up trading him, but
couldn't do it again
from 38.
He was a good player while he was here, and then he kind of just fizzled away.
He has one in overtime off John Skelton. So that says all you need to know about Arizona at that time. Sets up Ryan Lindell for a chippy 20.
You might be right. You might be right on that. We'll see.
3-3. Then they welcome the Tennessee Titans to Ralph Wilson Stadium.
Titans coming
Johnson,
in town.
Who, has well past his 2,000-yard season, still finds a way to turn back the clock against the Buffalo Bills as he rushes for 195 yards and 2 touchdowns, has an 83-yard score. And I think, Thad, you shot this one. Yes. And, what is your setup when you're watching the opposing team and you see their running back hit space and you know how fast he is and you're like, he's gone.
The long one, I don't
think Chris
was
Johnson.
Like that. It was a dance, and I know the other part of it is he ran down the opposite sideline. And
let me tell you something. I'm talking about a player who had a stretch where he was just unbelievable. Chris Johnson, man, if you had him on your fantasy team, whoo, you were getting points. That dude was electric fast. I think he held the 40-yard dash time for a while, right? Didn't he hold the record for that for a bit? I forgot who beat him, but he had that for a while. Chris Johnson, boy, like I said, for a while. I wonder what let me actually pull his stats up because I know he had his run, man, where he was just dynamic as they come, man. Let me see his stats. Let's see here. So Chris Johnson stats. So yeah, bro, he had himself a run. So in 2008 rookie year, 1,228 yards. 2009 he had 2,006. 2010 he had 1,364 yards. 2011 he had 1,047. 2012 he had 1,243. 2013 he had 1,077, and then he starts to decline a little bit. 2014, 663. 2015, he goes to, or that's where he goes to the Jets in 2014, 663. Then he goes to Arizona. He has 814, and then and then that's it. He plays 2 more years, but he misses a lot of games. 95 yards, 114. But But that run there from 2008 all the way to 2013, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-year run. That dude was incredible. I mean, there's no other words to describe it. He was a beast, man. He was so fast, bro. Chris Johnson had generational straight line speed. It literally didn't look real. Yeah, bro. He was like, that dude was amazingly fast, bro. 4.21. Yeah. Who beat him recently? Was it Worthy who finally broke his record? But I think I heard somewhere where Chris Johnson was, he ran a 40 times somewhere else that it was even faster than what he did at the combine. So I don't know. I would love, if we could somehow turn back and they put Worthy and him in a race back then to see who was faster, but I don't know. I think Chris Johnson might have that, man. Mark Anderson was one of the worst accusations not named Kelvin Benjamin. Yeah. Yep. And of course, Mark Anderson was good for the pass. Yeah, of course, right? You guys remember Mark Anderson, right? What a fucking waste. He had 10 sacks the year before with the Patriots, comes here, does nothing. Wasn't he on the cover of Madden? He was. He actually was. Yes. Yeah. And deservedly so, right? The dude was an animal, bro. But anyways, let's get to this game.
Taking you inside behind the curtain a little bit. When we're on the sideline, we want the big highlights to come to our side of the field because you get a bigger picture, a clearer picture. He ran the 83 yards on the other sideline, which is awesome, but it isn't a great looking highlight. So I wasn't super excited about it. But the thing I remember about this game is that it was weird in that the Bills were down. Let's see, they were down 1. They scored a touchdown late in the third quarter and kicked the extra point to go up 6 instead of going for 2 to go up 7. And at the end of the game, that was the last points they would score, and they ended up losing by that 1 point. And Gailey got ripped for not going to 2. And I just remember thinking on the field at the time, no, I would not have gone for 2 there because the game was 28-27 at the end of the third quarter. There's going to be 15 more, each team's going to have 3 or 4 more scoring drives. There's no reason to go for 2 yet. And as it turns out, almost to what we were talking about before the New England game, the Bills offense is going up and down the field with Tennessee the whole game. And then when it matters most in the fourth quarter, they can't do anything. Yep. And Gailey is burned by not going for 2 on a third quarter touchdown.
I'm with you on that, by the way.
I attended.
That's what I mean about having a franchise quarterback. Like,
and his brother.
If you don't have that,
shout out to Jason.
Yes,
it's not going to work.
How many times did a washed-up running back have those sort of games against the Bills? And it was not like, well, he's really grinding it out there. It's like, oh, he hits the first level and he hits the second level and it's gone. He's over. It was amazing, and it felt like they lost it in a dumb way. But really, I think you're right there. Is that in hindsight, there's a lot of ways to get mad at this Bills team, and there's a lot of things to get angry about with Gailey, but that maybe isn't the one. Like you should stop the run, maybe.
And also Ryan Fitzpatrick, don't throw an interception with 3 minutes to go in a 1-point game. Yeah, and that's what he did.
We did.
Was the dumb
one. Technically, but
real knack
we drafted TJ Graham 5 picks before him.
Throws off his back
so
it's 5 yards short of the receiver. It's an easy pick, and you just go like,
third round, man.
Yeah, it's just not a smart play.
Yeah, it's not a Harvard play. That's for sure. So the Bills go into the bye week at 3-4. Sean Merriman returns.
I guess we believed in Ryan Fitzpatrick, man.
Surgery, and of course, this is with the.
And I like Fitzpatrick, but come on, man.
It's a procedure. So wouldn't that be surgery? Well, no, it's a procedure. What is the difference? And so just like the splitting hairs of that, I just remember being there for those battles as. The John Warrows, the Mark Gawns of the world are like, well, what is it? Did he have surgery? It's a procedure. And of course, the Bills.
They still do that today, by the way.
Mario Williams at no
teams
point
they're always cautious on what they say about injuries.
$20,000 by the NFL. So maybe you should just be honest with these guys.
And they lie a lot. They still lie today.
Everybody's point of view.
Let's be real.
Everything about him was.
I'll give you a great example about how teams lie. Do you guys recall Josh Allen? I forget the team we went against. It was 2 years ago when he got basically knocked out, and he woke up a second later, but he definitely got knocked out, and he got up or whatever, but they never did nothing. Josh Allen continued to play in the game, but he clearly was concussed. There's no doubt in my mind that Josh Allen was knocked. So. Yeah, come on, man. Teams always are hiding injuries or, not reporting them or reporting them just as a procedure. Like they do it all the time. Matter of fact, every off season, there's some type of player that is having surgery done following the season. And you come to find out they've been playing on a, broken foot the whole year or something. You know what I mean? Like, but that's common in the NFL, guys. It happens every year, man. EJ experiment starts next year. Can't wait. We took TJ Graham before who? We took TJ Graham and Russell Wilson went 5 picks later in the third round. So, oopsie. Yeah. I think Ralph was very sick at this point. I can't remember. He was spending most of his time. Yeah, he's 90. I think 90-something years old, bro, at this time. 94. He's in his 90s. Put it that way. He's in his 90s at this point. We talked about it last week. They mentioned the home game against the Jets was the last game Ralph Wilson attended. And that was in the 2011 season. So Ralph Wilson, that's it. He doesn't go back to see another Buffalo Bills game in Ralph Wilson Stadium, Rich Stadium, again. So clearly Ralph Wilson was, getting to the age where he just couldn't, get out and about, right? So, yeah. Russ Brandon was basically in the candy store with super. Yeah, dude, our GMs were bad too, bro. I mean, like Buddy Nix, come on, man. I'll give Buddy Nix credit. He did swing for the fences at times, but poor decision making on the quarterback situation. I don't know why they
go back to his old stomping ground.
They stuck with Fitzpatrick. In week 9, all these quarterbacks we stuck with way too long.
Arian Foster, of course, he is not washed at this time. He runs for 111 yards and a score.
Foster, remember him?
Quarter, so he doesn't have a pick. He just fumbles the ball away late in the game.
Wow, way to go.
The Texans win a snoozer.
There was another loss.
Were you there for that one?
Yes. Yeah. And remember going to do the Mario interview post game because no matter what the score was, that was going to be the priority interview wise.
Yep.
And, he didn't want to talk about anything. He pretty much blew off every question.
Texans, yes. Okay, there we go.
This was going to be Mario for this season.
Yeah, he was knocked out, bro.
He had not had the impact the Bills had hoped right from day one. He certainly did not have the impact I'm sure personally.
But they won't tell you that. Because they would have took Josh out. You know what I mean? But he was out. He was
the
knocked
numbers
out.
were going to be there. But in terms of wins and losses and real impact, Mario had next to zero in this season.
Yeah, the narrative shifted so quickly on him. The excitement that really gave way to it. And I think the media had a lot to do with it just because he was so difficult to deal with for you guys. I mean, you don't want it to affect what you do, but really, I mean, I think it's important to note that people say all the time, like, well, I don't care about the media. I don't care what this guy who's writing about the team says, but it affects how you view the team so much because that's the lens that you view it through. And if guys don't like the person that they're talking to every day, you're not going to like the person.
It's hard. It's probably more subconscious than conscious. But again, right back to the Jets game. When you start out as a guy who was supposed to succeed in a big way, and then
they're shredded him like he did nothing.
Your explanation for it is
I'm surprised.
Right. What are you supposed to write about that? You're going to say, look, this is the worst way to handle it because it is.
Right.
And
I'm sure he had some bad games, but
when it came to dealing with the media,
total production was there. I mean, I don't see
hard, not to write or report something different.
Week 10.
I don't see why they think he had such a bad production.
My first time going to Gillette
Let me see what he did this year. Let me see.
Patriots are letting the Bills hang around in this one.
See what he did that year.
Though the Pats never trailed, Fred
10.5 sacks,
touchdowns, does have a fumble
37 solo tackles,
line, which is
tackles for loss 12.
That's the 2012 Bills, kind of in one.
2 forced fumbles. I mean, that's not a bad.
Really good. And he fumbles at the 3.
I'll take that right now.
But
give me those stats right now, dude. You kidding me?
I remember standing on the sideline.
I'll take it right now.
Thinking Fitz has a chance to win a game in Foxborough.
Come on,
right
Fitz!
This is actually going to happen.
Oh boy!
And then he throws an interception in the back of the end zone.
Come on, Fitz!
Who knows what? I mean, TJ Graham took the fall for it. He said he ran the wrong route. I mean, it's a bad throw, and Devin McCourty is right there for New England.
Look at the receiver sticking up for Fitz.
So the Patriots win 37.
I ran the wrong route.
I've lost 3 straight.
Oh man!
You can call the Bills cursed when it comes to this place.
3 and 6, lovely.
They got a lot of first downs, 35 of them. They scored points, but when it mattered.
We got a super chat, man. Let's get to that super chat one. By the way, anyone that gets a super chat, man, you always get that train horn, man. I appreciate you and love you, man.
Thank you very much.
My dude Allen's coming through, man. Tommy, obviously the show is about the 2012 Bills, but what do you think about what do you think people will think about the Bills organization if we never win a Super Bowl with Allen? It's something I'm starting to get worried about. So, man, you know what's weird with me, man, and I appreciate the super chat, man. It helps the channel out a lot, man. And thank you to everybody else that does that as well, man. It does go a long way, man. But anyways, if they don't win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen, it will be devastating because it is so difficult to find a franchise quarterback, and not only find a franchise quarterback, to find an elite franchise quarterback, right? There's a difference there, right? You can still win with the franchise quarterback, which is, still on that tier 2 level, good quarterbacks in the NFL. But having a franchise elite quarterback, tier 1 level, and there's only, I would say, 3 more, Burrow, Mahomes, and Jackson. You're talking about 32 teams, 4 quarterbacks are elite. So you should win a Super Bowl when you have that type of talent in the room. However, you still need to build around him because it's not just about one player. One player just won't get the job done. The NFL is the ultimate team sport. So, yes, it would be highly disappointing. But, and I'm not just saying this because I love my Buffalo Bills, and people may think I'm a homer for saying it, but I truly believe that we're going to win a Super Bowl within the next 2 years. And I believe we have a real opportunity this year. And I'm not the only one that thinks that. I think a lot of Bills Mafia are more on the side of thinking this, team's going to be bad or a non-playoff team. But if you look outside of these angry Bills fans, which they have every right to have their opinion and whatever, but if you look outside those fans, right, that just don't see this team being good, don't like anything we've done, don't like the coach, don't like the GM, don't like the roster. But outside of those people that are not liking it, if you look at a lot of sports national media, if you look at the Las Vegas and Super Bowl odds, the Buffalo Bills are second to win the Super Bowl and odds, right? It's the Rams and the Buffalo Bills. I think Buffalo's tied with a couple teams for second place. And I'm not saying Vegas always has it right, but they usually have it close. They have an idea. And, guys like Colin Cowherd, who I like a lot, and I don't like a lot of national sports media, he has the Buffalo Bills potentially going to Super Bowl this year. Like, they understand what we have on this team, right? They understand we have an elite quarterback. They understand that DJ Moore is a very good receiver and a really good pickup, right? They understand that changing our scheme, and that could potentially help out this team get to Super Bowl. So that's why I'm believing so much in this team. And for anyone that thinks, I'm just a homer, I haven't said this or haven't felt this way and said it since the 2021 season, going into 2021. And the only reason I felt that way in 2021 or going into that season where I did say it out loud, or where I truly believed it, was because of what we accomplished from 2019 to 2020 and the way we were, going up as far as just, getting better and better through the years. It just seemed like it was just on course to go to a Super Bowl. We just made it to an AFC Championship game versus Chiefs. And I'm like, man, it's only going to get better from here. And unfortunately, 13 seconds happened in 2021. And after that, man, I just started to lose, that confidence of we're getting to Super Bowl. Now, I was optimistic. I always said we have an opportunity. We still always have a chance, right? Because we have an elite quarterback. We're still a good team. But I wasn't out there going for sure, because McDermott kind of lost me there at the 13-second game, right? And I just never could really just come out and be like, yeah, man, for sure. I'm for this team for sure is going to Super Bowl. Like, I was optimistic, and I should be, and fans should be. But yeah, I haven't said it since 2021. So I'm saying it now because I do feel confident, and I do feel confident in this roster, and I do feel confident in this coaching staff and the vision and the new scheme of the defense. So it has me excited, and I think I anger people that disagree with that take. And look, people can have their opinions. People can think how they want to think. I'm not angry at them. I think the only thing that kind of irks me with fans that are thinking, so negative about it is what irks me, or what I don't want to say bothers me, I guess bothers me, is the fact that, look, we're going into a new era with a new stadium and a new coaching staff and a whole new defensive scheme and vision. I would think that the fans would at least be somewhat excited about what's ahead, right? Like, instead of just shitting all over it. Like, that part I don't get, because it's not like we're in the drought. And then I would go, okay, I get it. Because even during the drought, I wasn't angry, right? And I'll tell you why. Because I kind of knew it was going to happen the next year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'll still watch because I love the Buffalo Bills. But I knew during this time, this drought years, there was no really real hope. It was just me being a fan and watching my team because I love the Buffalo Bills. But with this current team, we've been a very good team. We just haven't gotten the goal finished, which is a Super Bowl. But it's not like we're missing the playoffs every other year, or, there's problems always going on in Buffalo, right? This is basically the same team returning with upgraded players. So I don't understand why fans are like, oh, shitty roster, bad roster, won't make the playoffs, when we've upgraded in many positions. We had a good draft. I guess that part I just don't understand. And I'm not knocking people for having an opinion or saying they don't believe in the team, whatever. But I just don't understand why so much like anger, with some of these fans just not, and I'll say it like this, and it is what it is. If you hate it, if you really truly hate this, like, roster, you don't believe this roster is going to do anything, you don't believe we're going to even make the playoffs, and you have all this hate, right? Like you just don't like the GM, you don't like anything Buffalo does. Why are you so invested in even watching the team or commenting on the team? It makes no sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, you can have your opinion, you can have your worries. There's nothing wrong with that. I'll tell you guys all the time, hey, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what has me concerned, right? I do it all the time, right? And you watch during the season, you guys know this. We do live instant reactions after games. I'm going to tell you what I like, what I didn't like, right? Even with wins. So, like, I'm as honest as they come as how I see it. But if I just truly just don't believe in the team, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, I hate everything about it, I don't like the coach, I don't like the GM, I don't like the draft picks, why am I invested? Why would I even bother talking about the team? Right? So that's kind of why, like, lately I've been just like pushing this whole Bean Island, believe in Bean Island, and going on Twitter more than I have, because I kind of got off it for a while. But now I'm kind of like getting these grouches mad, all right? And they are mad. Like, I'll post something about, I like Brandon Bean, he's a good GM. Oh, fuck him. Oh, they get so worked up. So it's like, I'm kind of enjoying it, man, because if I truly believe in this team. So I can't wait for this season to start, bro, because I want that same energy. Go ahead and bring that same energy, and we'll revisit that talk, because I promise you, a lot of these fans that are so hating on the team, don't believe in this team, don't like anything on this team, they're gonna want to jump back on the Bills train. You know what I mean? And it's honestly, I wouldn't welcome them back, but that's me. But yeah, sorry for the long-winded reply, but yeah, I believe in this team, and I believe they have a real opportunity to win a Super Bowl. I do. I like everything about I like everything that's going on right now in Buffalo. I absolutely love it. I'm excited for it. I cannot wait for the season to start. When did the train horn thing start with Buffalo? I appreciate it's a thing that unites Bills fans. I live next to railroad tracks and just kind of get tired of it. Sorry. Oh, dude, I live next to, I did too for a little while. And in a way, it was actually a good thing because I bought a sound machine to block out the noise because it would run all night. And I am hooked on this sound machine now. I cannot go to sleep without it being on, rain and thunder. I blast that motherfucker. My ex-girlfriend hated it. And I said, hey, well, I don't know what to tell you because I can't get to sleep without it. And we moved. I moved. I wasn't even by trains anymore, but I just got so used to it. And it puts me into like, I don't know. It just puts me in a whole nother place. And I can't sleep without a sound machine now. So, but as far as the train horn thing, we're not the only ones that do it, by the way. There's plenty of teams that do the train horn, just a heads up. And I like it, bro. It's cool when, you know, there's a big play, you know, like a big, you know, big third down coming up for the defense. I think it's really cool in the stadium, right? It gets you amped up. So look, I get it. Some people hate it or whatever. I guess, you know, you may not like it, but I get it. Like I think it's exciting. And I play it here for the super chats because it's a thing. It's kind of a thing now for us and here on the channel to recognize somebody donating to the channel as a super chat, dude. So I don't do it to annoy anybody. And sorry if it annoys you when I hit the train horn, but it's to acknowledge the super chat. You know what I'm saying? But that's why I do it on this channel. And yeah, man, like other, like I said, other podcasters ring a bell or something like, you know, or say nothing or do nothing. Right? I try to at least show the love, man, by doing the train horn. The only time I ever truly thought we were going to win a Super Bowl was 1990, and I'm with you. Against the Giants, right? That was the one Super Bowl we should have won. We were the better team. We had the better roster. I think the Bills took it for granted. I know, you know, from what I heard, there was doing a lot of partying the week before going to the Super Bowl or having that game. I think they overlooked the Giants, and it cost them. It definitely cost them because they were the better team. The Giants had a backup quarterback too, man. So like we were just a better team overall. Both sides of the ball, we had way more playmakers, and we blew it. We blew it because then after that we played Washington, who that year Washington was just a special year for them. They had great players that were the tail end of their prime, you know, coming out of their prime or still in their prime, but at the tail end. But it was just a special year for Washington. No one's going to beat Washington that year. And then we played back-to-back Dallas games, Super Bowls against Dallas, who Dallas was stacked. Like we were stacked, but Dallas was stacked. You know what I mean? Like we weren't going to win. We were the best team in the AFC, but we weren't going to beat that Dallas team. It just was not going to happen, man. I don't think anybody would have. They were stacked. I agree. I'm extremely excited about this year. New hope. I agree, Tommy. Cool. There you go. All fans believe in this team. We all know Vegas controls everything that happens during the football season. Yeah. I don't know about that. Vegas isn't always right. But once again, Vegas is very close when they do their odds, right? Odd making. Like they're not just throwing some bullshit teams out there, you know, they're not putting the Dolphins, you know what I'm saying? The Jets, like they understand. They're looking at the teams and what they got, the rosters and everything else. And they got some smart sports bookmakers who understand sports very well. So yeah, I mean, there's a reason why the Rams are number one. I get that. And Buffalo's number two. They're tied with somebody else. Like I think two teams. It's Buffalo. It may even be Baltimore and somebody else for that second spot. But either way, I mean, Buffalo's right up there. And some, like I said, some national media has Buffalo going to the Super Bowl. So we'll find out. I'm confident. I can't wait. I'm excited. But anyways, let's continue this on. We're almost done with this.
They turn the ball over, and in the end,
and we've been on here 3 hours,
with
folks.
Another defeat.
We are not good enough yet to not play extremely well. and win. We've got to play extremely well to win. We're not there yet. There's some other teams that can do that. We're not. We're not one of those.
I believe this is Chan's last year, right?
For the quarterback is a chance at the end to win the game, and we had that today. We did. We held them to a field goal at the end there, and were able to drive down and have a couple shots at the end zone, but weren't able to get it done.
The game
bad throw by Fitz there.
The way our quarterback played, it just seemed like it was right for us to come back and win this game, but it didn't happen like that. Now we got to take it for what it is and get ready for Miami on Thursday.
I'm proud of our guys for running lanes and giving our quarterbacks time to throw the ball. But at the same time, I'm very disappointed because we're 3-6.
Yeah, we did. I'm with you, Crazy. It just unfortunately didn't happen that way.
Thanksgiving demarcation became a media goal. I mean, if you talk about the Bills relevantly, after Thanksgiving, it was a good year. That's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And this was one of the years where it was not. I mean, it was done. The Fitz contract from the year before was looking terrible. Chan Gailey's head was starting to be on a plate. That was the discussion now. And, in Buffalo, we had all too many discussions at this point. You think about, Gailey, we're on the fourth coach. So we're going through potentially the fourth coaching change. We're going to have, we're on our fourth GM. We're on our 18th quarterback or whatever it was. All these discussions have been had so many times before. It just wasn't interesting.
Yeah, and they got to 3-3, and I actually kind of forgot that they got there at this point because it never felt like they were close in this season.
This might be the most forgettable season of the drought.
Yeah,
it's up there. It's really up there. I mean, considering that, and it's not even like the 4-12 year.
We love winning 6 or 7 games every year.
They started 0-8 with something.
We're always in that 6-7 range.
Overtime losses.
Every year, man. Maybe 8. 6, 7, 8. That's where that's Buffalo's sweet spot during the drought.
And this team is not good.
Oh,
so
man.
now you have to play 6 more games, knowing that really isn't a whole lot. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. There's no anything.
What are the plays we talk about from this season? We're talking about a 2-point conversion in the third quarter, TJ Graham running the right or wrong route. I mean, these are itty bitty specks on a Patriots season. But for the Bills, this is the whole 2012.
Yeah. Week 11, Thursday night game. Leotis McKelvin has a 79-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah, Leotis.
Score. Ryan Liddell kicks 4 field goals.
Dolphins, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But the Bills beat the Dolphins 19-14 as Ryan Tannehill sacked 3 times, once by Mario Williams. Yeah. So Mario, I remember this game. Mario did play well in this game, and McKelvin's punt return is obviously
Fitz for the year, 3,400 yards, 24 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. So I wouldn't call it great, but
Thursday night games because that's where they put the bad teams.
Not bad.
Put them in somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and before Thanksgiving,
not too bad.
You could maybe kind of sell it like, ooh, could a team save their season?
Better for the interceptions.
Thursday night.
Because the year before you had 20-something.
That week too?
They were bad, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the Bills, they win a game. They're 4-6. Week 12, they travel to Indianapolis. The Bills finally score an offensive touchdown in the fourth quarter. But the game was firmly in the hands of the Colts. The Colts win 20-13.
No.
Week 13, Jacksonville Jaguars. It's easy to right the wrongs when the Jags come to town, and they did that. Fred Jackson has 109 yards in the ground. C.J. Spiller, 77 yards and a touchdown. Fitz, 2 TDs and a pick. Bills win 34-18. They're 5-7. And this is the frustrating thing, is because you're watching a team that
5-7 at this point. Watch out.
There is no light at the end of the tunnel. And they're winning games
to kill your draft pick.
Your draft pick. Because that's the thing. And we mentioned.
See what I mean about the 6, 7, 8 wins?
Go to the postseason in 2011.
I mean, you're not helping yourself. You're not going anywhere.
Playoff drought.
Lions
had a winless season, and they have figured it out. Obviously, they haven't won a championship, but they
want to get in the top 5,
tournament.
That winless season, did that not net them?
Buffalo. Such a Buffalo thing too, right?
And you make the argument the Jets are trying to do that this year. They're going to go. The Jets might be 0-25 this year.
Win just enough games not to get a good selection.
5-7 with the team going nowhere. I mean, the real treadmill of mediocrity is kind of at its peak. I think.
Yes.
With this Bills team.
You think about the 3 Duran years, where what we have 7-9, 7-9, 7-9, 6-10, something like that.
Yeah.
And then with
Gailey,
it was
6-7 wins. We love it.
They're just spinning their wheels in this 8th to 12th draft spot where you cannot, be guaranteed to land franchise changers. Certainly not the quarterback spot,
and certainly not with this team's drafting.
Exactly.
So week 14, December 9th, the Bills welcome the St. Louis Rams to Ralph Wilson Stadium. I was at this game.
St. Louis
and
Rams.
All I remember from this game was Sam Bradford running off the field after it was over. I was there. I witnessed it. I don't know what happened. The Rams won 15-12.
15-12, yeah.
15-12.
wow.
Yeah, that's what the sheet says.
15-12.
Bills
Good
dropped to
Lord.
5-8.
Remember Sam Bradford? He actually started his career pretty good.
15-12. I would imagine
And
there
then,
would be a
man,
game with a lot- with
it
only
just
field
went
goals.
downhill from there for
But
Bradford.
it would be if it was like 13.
We'll have to check
13-4 or something like that.
Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Hold on.
You know this is
2012.
Let
me relook on Fitz's stats, bro.
The Bills go north of the border to
No, it
Toronto
says
to play the Seattle
3,400 yards
And
on.
we talked about Russell
I'm
Wilson,
looking on
and, he made the Bills play
Pro
on this game,
Pro
with,
Football Reference.
205
So
yards through
they're
the air,
usually right.
92 yards on the
It
ground,
says 3,400, 24
rushing
touchdowns, 16
Bagger in Toronto.
interceptions
Seeing Russell
for
Wilson then,
2012.
did you think, oh my God, this is the future of the NFL?
You said, what did you say? Let me see here. You said
I had many doubts about whether or
2,500.
not that pattern.
Let me see if they're
offense
talking about
would
the next
But
season. Hold on.
My opinion of Russell Wilson,
2013.
almost a 180 because he blew you away in that game. You know,
No,
and
E.J. Manuel was
played in
quarterback.
Seattle. They weren't Seattle.
So that was it for
Didn't see him
Ryan.
a lot. And seeing that up close and seeing
Previous
how impossible it was to
season.
defend, again, you know.
So in
50 points. I don't
2011
remember what Russell Wilson's season was like, but to me that feels like at least here in the
Fitz at
Northeast,
3,800
that was when
yards,
Russell Wilson
24 and
came out, he was throwing
23.
a 50 burger on the Bills.
Remember,
and
the whole idea of the Bills
2010.
playing this Toronto series was to garner interest in the team in this
No,
market.
2010 he had
Instead, they
3,000
come
yards,
here
so
to
I don't know where the
Rogers Center trying to
2,500
expose
yards
their
come
brand
from.
of NFL football, and they stunk up
But
the
if you
joint.
go under
I
Pro
thought about it,
Football
you know,
Reference,
we don't have many
3,400.
games up here, and we know this is like a second home. And if we don't, win when we get these opportunities,
So they got to be wrong,
just
unless
for the fans' sake,
unless they're
it's,
wrong. I don't know.
It's like a downhill thing. We know that they'll end up losing hope.
Can't come up and criticize these.
Yeah,
fans
but
for
it's still at the end of the day, bro. It still goes
how
back to
they
your
view the
coach. I
game.
get what you're saying,
You gotta
but
give these people something to be excited about.
it has to fall on your coach,
most of
regardless.
those
You know what I
plays
mean?
Came from Seattle today.
You're angry at yourself.
He was. You know what it is? Gailey
because
wasn't
you
a.
didn't, get the team ready to play.
Gailey is a good offensive coordinator. Like that's his sweet spot, right? He's an offensive-minded head coach, but he just wasn't a good head coach. Like his spot should be in the box as an offensive coordinator, right? Like, for me, like head coaching just wasn't his thing. You know what I mean? And that happens. That happens to a lot of coaches that try to become head coaches and just doesn't work out, and they go back to what they were doing before they were a head coach, was defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. But it just didn't work out for Chan. It just, not saying he's a bad guy, but it just just couldn't get this team. He just wasn't a good head coach. They said the year before he came in and he in 2011 or what, I think it was 2011. He said he took all the TVs, or it might have been 2010. He took all the TVs out of the locker room because he thought it would be a distraction, and that was the first thing he did was take all the TVs. Like that's not. It's not. The TVs weren't the reason why the team was suffering or bad, right? Like, so I sometimes people look at things a little different. Maybe he thought they were fooling around on TV. I don't know, but that had nothing to do with why we stunk. Why we stunk was because they couldn't find a franchise quarterback. And, that's really the biggest key. And then obviously, leadership, putting it all together as a head coach. And I think maybe that's where you just didn't have it. And a lot of coaches we had here just clearly didn't have that. They just didn't have that. And then obviously not having a franchise quarterback on top of that won't help you either. Yeah, Wiki isn't always right. Yeah, they're wrong on that one. I'll trust Pro Football on that one on his yards. So.
The level they needed to play to win the ball game. When they don't play,
but I didn't hate Shane Gailey.
My performance and our performance on offense, our performance on defense.
This is like
poorly,
Fitz before he had the big beard.
Him, and I think it eats me up.
Like clean cut, well trimmed Fitzpatrick.
Is that there's nothing that the fans could do at Ralph Wilson Stadium to stop Russell Wilson. That was going to happen. But also, like, where are they coming from? Like, Bills fans are uninterested in this happening, and everyone else that they're playing is excited about it because it's Toronto and they can make that sort of thing happen. They're flying across the country or they're somehow really big Seahawks fans in Toronto.
The Toronto series started out with the
Toronto
Bills fans
series
being
was
a neutral
terrible, by the
group
way.
at best, and
So
just decreased
bad.
over the years to the point of the Seattle game. They weren't even a factor. That game could have been played anywhere.
So bad, bro.
Ryan, living in Niagara Falls, what is the dynamic any different?
Got our
living
ass
there
kicked,
because
50 to
you are
17.
that half hour
Oh my
closer
God.
to Toronto than Buffalo, and even further from
And
Orchard
those
Park. Where
fucking fans,
perhaps
poor
maybe
fans of Toronto.
It's okay,
We're
whatever.
giving them such
I mean, Toronto's,
garbage.
what, an hour?
We won
and a
one
half?
game in Toronto.
No, there
One.
was no interest in going up there for those games. The
I mean,
tickets were
those
more
fans
expensive.
had to
It was
been
not
like,
for-
what
it
the
was not for
fuck,
Bills
dude?
fans.
This is what you're
very
giving
clear-
us?
The initiative was very clear in what they were
Terrible.
doing
I'm
there.
supposed to
Didn't
cheer
involve-
for you guys?
And that's speaking as somebody who, Ralph Wilson Stadium is 45 minutes from my house. So it's a drive as well. Like that was, going to those games when you're growing up was,
the
furthest that you're
just
going
a bad
away
thing.
from
It
your
just,
house unless you're
I don't
going on
know
a
what
trip
they were thinking about the
And,
Toronto
it
series.
was
I have
just a
no
very
idea.
different. Everything about that felt wrong. It wasn't just people on the border. It was most fans.
Why
It's
would
such
they
a
do
weird-
that?
You understand why they did it, but then when you see the result,
No,
the
I
results just
don't.
kept coming, with the exception of the one Bears game.
Taking away a home game to go play in Toronto?
No, it's just wow. I still can't believe that it happened.
Well, how
And I'm
many-
very
how
glad
many
that
years
it
did we
could
do
have
that
just
for?
ended,
6?
obviously, but it was very clear at that point that it was just a horrible idea.
Seahawks win 50-17. The Bills
Oh,
are eliminated from
God.
the playoffs for a 13th straight season. 5 days later, Friday, December 21st, the Bills in Erie County agree on a 10-year lease. The Bills lease would
That's
be
right.
set to
We're not
expire in
going
summer of
anywhere.
2015. This lease includes a $400 million relocation fee for whatever prospective owner comes in after Ralph passes. He's 93 going on 94.
Damn.
So just a lot has been written and said about the lease, and there are still questions about the lease because it's not like it's been produced to the public. Only certain facets have been released. So, in one aspect, there's been so much discussion about the black cloud hanging over Buffalo and Western New York about whether the Bills would move to Toronto. And now it seems like Ralph has almost in a way left this parting gift for when he passes, that the Bills are at least going to be here for another 7 years.
Thanks,
and
Ralph.
if another
What a-
owner comes in and wants to move, it's going
Look at Ralph
to cost
Wilson.
them nearly $500 million.
Good guy.
Just the thoughts then that perhaps is the cloud being lifted
Set us
now?
up,
Because
man.
This lease is at least locking the
We
Bills
ain't going
in
anywhere.
2020.
It was better. It was, like you said, hotly debated about how much better it really was. In the grand scheme, what's $500 million to an NFL owner? I mean, we talked about Terry Pegula being worth nearly $5 billion when he bought the Bills. And at that time, the concern was Los Angeles. So a possible LA owner, in people's imagination was worth 6 to 10 to 8 billion or more than that. So, was it really a deterrent? That was a big question. I think at the end of the day, this is an example of what Ralph Wilson wanted to do. He wanted to keep the Bills in Buffalo, or at least give Buffalo the best chance he could to keep the Bills. But he also toed the line between requiring his family to pick up and own the team after he was gone, and he did not want them to pay that huge estate tax that they would have had to have done if he had just passed the team down. So while he didn't want to force his family to own the team, he wanted to give Buffalo a chance. And this lease was, I think, as close as he could get to keeping the Bills in Buffalo without forcing the Wilson clan to hold on to the team.
Yeah, I think there's definitely two pretty significant camps in this, and that Ralph did all that he could, and he set up, you called it a parting gift, right? And I think most fans don't think it was much of a gift, really. It was just setting the framework for this is the exit strategy. This is how they pull the chute. And so it wasn't really much comfort, honestly. It was just that this is the timeline now. It's not just whenever he passes away. It's that, this is how it's going to play out. And it's not even really like, well, it's like pulling out your phone and setting this is the date I'll have to actually worry about that. But I'm still going to think about it the whole time.
The new lease, signed by Governor Cuomo via satellite, Erie
Hey,
County and the
Governor
Bills,
Cuomo.
includes a commitment to stay in Buffalo for at least 7 years. The Bills must pay a $400 million penalty to leave before that. In year 8, they can pay $28 million to buy out the remaining years of the deal.
Today is a monumental day because today is a significant step in securing the long-term future of the Buffalo Bills in Western New York.
The new lease agreement also includes
We're not going
$130 million
anywhere.
for stadium renovations. The Bills will pay $35 million of that. Erie County and the state will pony up $95 million in taxpayer funds.
Those that would criticize the state and Erie County,
You pay
for
those
investing
taxes,
taxpayer money to keep the
Buffalonians.
Bills here, would be the same ones criticizing if the Bills left. The Bills are a big part of the fabric of Western New York.
Better
They
pay
make
those
great
taxes.
contributions in income
We need our
tax,
Buffalo
sales
Bills
tax,
here.
and add to the economic fabric of the state.
The agreement also includes the creation of a new stadium working group to explore the potential for building a new stadium in the future.
Oh, we got it done.
Mark Ruba, News 8.
We most certainly did.
Toronto media is coming to Bills practices, obviously covering games. And so, in the media room at One Bills Drive, you get to talk to them, you bounce things off them. And John Crick from the Toronto Sun, who's done a great job covering the Toronto series and just the Bills with that market in Toronto and Southern Ontario. And he always thought that the Bills were never going to move to Toronto because of the economics. A, because of the $400 million. But B, you'd have to build a stadium. And like Canadian government and politics is totally different from the United States when it comes to publicly financed stadiums, at least in Toronto and Ontario. So it would almost have to be totally privately funded. Plus, you'd have to build facilities. So now you're looking at $400 million, plus a stadium, which is probably going to be about $1 billion, not to mention the exchange rate from Canada and team facilities. So you're looking at a $2 billion expenditure.
At minimum.
Not to mention also buying the team, which is going to cost, as the Bills went, for $1.4 billion. So in that regard, just the economics weren't going to allow the Bills to move to Buffalo, even if Ralph dies the day after the lease is signed, because the money would just be so staggering, it wouldn't work.
Right, and all of that makes sense. But I think the thing that made it doing the Bills and Toronto series was insulting for a lot of fans, but it's also that there is an inferiority complex between Buffalo and Toronto. It might start with the Leafs. It might start with just the fact that it's the largest Canadian city and it's right over there. It's on the other side of Lake Ontario. But when you go there, I'm a Red Sox fan. I would go to games at Rogers Center, and the parking lot that you're parking at, the next time you go back turns into a condo. Things happen so quickly there, and there's so much money in that market that yes, it's billions of dollars to make it happen, but it feels like it's possible there. It feels like that's a city that can go and do that. The thing that made you feel better is that, the fans didn't really care up there. That's the thing that was reassuring more than just like the economics wouldn't work.
To me, at that point, when the lease was signed, I at that point had moved to, I don't think Toronto's the problem. I think LA is the problem.
Right.
To me, I would tell people at that point.
Remember when people thought we were going to move to Texas? When was that? 20?
You didn't know what it was. I mean, at that point,
18, I think. It was like rumors of 29.
The NFL
what year was that when they were talking, when they were saying if Buffalo can't get a stadium, a new stadium deal done, that we could potentially move to Texas? I think it was 2019, 2020, somewhere around there.
It matters so much because the team is lost. And even though they're bad, and they've been bad for a long time, you still want them here.
Yeah. Texas Buffalo Bills. Texas Bills.
They're still your Bills.
It was never going to happen.
Dolphins win in Week 16, 24-10.
That's right, Doug Marone, St. Doug.
Brian Scott has a 20-yard
coming in soon.
I was there for that game too.
Is it the next year? Is it 2013? Because I know Chan gets the boot here.
All over again.
It is Doug Marone. Good for you, man.
New Year's Eve, the day after.
He doesn't last long, though.
The New York Jets
doesn't last long.
Chan Gailey is fired along with the rest of the Bills coaching
Two
staff.
seasons for Doug.
When you are the low man on the totem pole, you have to work Thanksgiving, you have to work Christmas, but you get New Year's off. And I had in that game against the Jets, I went up to a member of the Bills staff.
Oh, that's not nice.
Him like,
Chan soup. Come on.
Just like we're coming back after this game, right? Because you're gonna to Chan.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, it's locker cleanout day. And I'm like, yeah, no, I know, but really, like, yeah, you should stick around this afternoon. And I'm like, okay.
We didn't get the job done. I've been
Chan.
called 2 other times to get things turned around.
Fired Bill said
was able to do it. We weren't able to get this one done soon enough. And I understand that completely. I think that the next
what? Good for him, though.
Great opportunity.
Not a lot of coaches do that, right? Go and talk to the media after you get fired. That's
great football.
Good for him. He's a good guy. I have no problem with Chan Gailey as a man, even a coordinator, really good. But good for him.
First place that's ever fired me. That I'll pull for.
And Dad, you saw there emotional Chan Gailey, like you said, fighting back tears.
Good for him, man. You heard what he said there?
Franchise. This will probably be, and I say probably, but I think it will be, first place that's ever fired me that I'll pull for.
And Dad,
good dude, bro. Hey, I like Chan even more now.
Tears. This job meant a lot.
Good for him.
He took it very seriously. Was very professional in our
dude,
dealings
man.
with him over this 3-year
You don't
period.
get to hear that much.
So
you just got fired. You're probably not going to be saying you're going to be rooting for the team moving forward. Like,
meeting with the coaches
good for him.
They depart for a long offseason.
2021.
Really,
okay, thank you, Crazy. I knew it was 2019, 2020, but 2021.
The only player left in the locker room when the news broke that
I think I did a
Gailey had
video
been
on that,
fired.
by the way.
Williams talked about his respect for really Coach Chan Gailey and the coach that came before him, Dick Duran. And I think you go up and down the Bills locker room. He was a well-respected coach. Problem was he just wasn't very good.
Yeah, stress will do that to you, brother. Stress will do that to you.
Coaches are really, really solid, good men. They're great men to be with. Their yes is yes, their no is no. Obviously, we haven't won enough, which is
It's a business at the end of the day. Players know this.
We were going to stand
But
around
I'm
and
sure
wonder if
they
we do a bunch of interviews with
respected
guys not knowing
him.
them, and they'd fire them later
Kind of
and
like,
all
you know,
that. It'd be
McDermott too.
irrelevant.
You know what I
But yeah,
mean? Like,
to the Bills' credit, from our
I
point of
get
view,
that. You're around somebody
Jerry Sullivan
for
broke the news. We all saw
2-3
it on
years, or
phones,
you know, in
and it was
McDermott's
done,
case,
the Bills moved forward. This is how
9.
it should have been handled.
You know, I get people.
And just Ryan,
you know,
your thoughts of the 3-year Chan
I
Gailey
get that.
experience
You know,
with,
the
4-12, 6-10,
the love you start
Well,
to
it's
have
not
for
exactly memorable.
your
I think
coach.
this is the separation of like
Chan seemed like a good dude.
the charming Southern gentleman Voltron, though, because now Buddy Nixon, Chan Gailey are not the same. You know, the one sticking around at least. And honestly, a lot of fans probably thought he shouldn't because the team hadn't really drafted all that well. And Williams, you know, which is a huge. I mean, the biggest stories about this team, you know, weren't what we're talking about at the end of the year. You're talking about relocation. That really says a lot about this season and just how lost it was.
Yeah, I would say, Thad, just your final thoughts on 2012.
Like I said, one of the most forgettable seasons.
Yeah.
I looked back at it and said, there's really nothing that happened here that we
Yeah.
need to talk about. You know, there are things you're like, oh, yeah, I remember this, I remember that. But the Fitzmagic was draining. You know, the CJ Spiller was one of the few bright spots. But, like, you know, we've had to work to find good things to talk about for this year. We were full into whether or not the Bills were going to stay. And, again, you know, who the new coach was going to be this time.
Yeah. And so, yeah, for me, it was really great because it was my first full season covering the team. And looking back in hindsight, like, wow, there's nothing here.
Yeah.
So, okay, moving forward into 2013, the Bills have to find a new head coach. And there's a man who's coaching a couple hours east of Buffalo, seems to be doing a good job turning around a college program. Would he have the answer for the Buffalo Bills? To that, we turn to the next episode of Down Drought.
All right, man. Hey, we finally we got through it. We got through episode number 13, the 2012 Buffalo Bills season. Next Sunday, same time, same place, 1 p.m. We'll be talking about the 2013 Buffalo Bills, episode number 14. We're almost done. We are almost at the end. This will probably finish a series at the end of this month. So, which was my plan because I wanted to do the series in the off season, almost leading up to training camp, which is going to be soon. What is it, mid-July, something like that? So, yeah, man, this has been a fun thing to do with you guys. I appreciate you guys sticking around, and a lot of you guys, man, have been on here this whole podcast, man. We've been on here 3.5 hours. So I hope you guys enjoy this. And next off season, I'll come up with something else to do during the off season that we could do on Sundays at 1:00. But I'll be back. I will be back. I'll be back tomorrow night at 10 p.m. But I got called into work, so I'll be doing my part of the podcast in my car. But Mikey will be at home, and I also got Jarek from Jant Sports helping out as a special guest. So it'll be 3 people on Monday night at 10 o'clock, me, Mikey, and Jarek from Jant Sports. And I'll see you guys there at 10. Also, don't forget to join the Discord channel or the Discord group chat. Hopefully we can get that thing growing and get a lot of Bills Mafia in that Discord. So appreciate you guys rocking with me once again. Bills Mafia, I love you. Crazy Climber, I appreciate you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.
Just let your soul go. Just let it shine through. Just let your